It is finally time, everybody. For years, you have been asking for Kinda Funny to do Alien and Predator in review, and we are finally here, beginning one of the most epic journeys in review has ever seen across many, many, many movies.
How many?
Over the course. I don't actually know, and they keep adding them, Greg. There's a new one coming this year, Predator Badlands.
That's why we're doing it.
What?
It's happening.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of this.
It's happening, yeah,
Is there a
man.
trailer?
I don't know.
Is it like a Prey thing?
It's the guy
I
that
think
did
it's the
Prey.
guy that did
It's Dan
Prey.
Trachtenberg. Yeah, they
Oh,
they're like,
cool.
I think it's theatrical, right?
It is?
And then they're supposedly, well, I guess we're probably not going to do the series, but they're supposedly like Alien Earth as well, which is going to be rad.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, though. We will not be doing the series.
Yeah.
This is us reviewing, ranking, and recapping every movie in the Alien, Predator, or Alien versus Predator franchises. We will be doing this in release order. A lot of people have been asking a lot of questions. We will be doing theatrical cuts of all of these movies, unless y'all riot and let me know before we get there of like, no, there's a definitive version we need to watch. No?
We're fine.
Do we know?
I have no
we
idea.
can have a conversation off air about aliens, but I don't think so. I think the theatrical releases are totally fine for these.
Theatrical
Personally.
releases is what it is then going forward. And we're going to be doing these again,
In fact,
release order.
Here we go.
I'm
Hold on.
making
Nick's
the
got
decision
something.
right now.
Nick's making a
Aliens
decision.
is theatrical release only because I don't like some of the scenes they included in the extra feature.
Well,
So
you'll have to educate us then. Okay?
I will when we get there. I will.
That's next week.
Yeah, perfect.
There you go. I'm tasking you with that, Nick.
Yeah.
And I'm tasking y'all to have a great time and to please show up and support this. Again, it is going to be a very big undertaking for us. Greg Miller is a very, very busy man. He's making his return here to In Review in the year of 2025, not only for the Marvel stuff and all that he's always on, but now this show, which is going to kind of go all the way through the year in a bunch of different ways. Because
Remind me, chat, when we get to the end, when it's December, I'll wear a Santa hat.
Yep.
I have to look at you.
Introducing the crew, Greg. I'm Tim Geddes. This is Andy Cortez.
Hello.
They're not on our level,
They're
man.
not on
I can
our
see why you
level.
miss
Give
me
us the
every day.
blackberries.
That's Greg
Every
Miller.
day during Heisenberg or whatever in review you fucking people did out here, black and white art pieces, Nick would slack me like, please come back to the show. Can we
Yeah.
watch a movie with a
I
gun
hate
in
talking
it?
intelligently
Can
about
we get a
Chris Nolan.
flamethrower?
I need Greg's tongue.
Oh my god.
Watch a movie with a gun in it.
And rounding out the group, we have Nick Scarpino.
Hello, Tim.
I am very, very excited to talk about this movie and all of the upcoming movies because this is Kinda Funny's In Review. Each and every week, we get together to rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. Of course, if you want to go above and beyond, you can get the Kinda Funny membership. That allows you to get the shows ad-free, watch live as we are recording, like Langley M. Neely, King Robla, Cameron Kennedy, Matthew Hidalgo, Mike L., the GOATs. We appreciate you all so very much for doing that. You also get a daily exclusive Greg Way that you can check out, and you get to be a super cool Patreon producer if you would like James Hastings, Casey Andrew, and Carl Jacobs. Today we're brought to you by Shady Rays and Rocket Money, but we'll tell you about that later. Little housekeeping, going back to how we're going to handle this franchise. It is going to be intermittent throughout the year whenever we have the space in between all the new releases for previous.
Then we're getting loud.
I knew it. That's bad.
I mean, it's just, again, I was getting all these things like I'm sick of watching Rosebud over here. When are we going to talk about DMB? What would you say, Nick?
I mean,
you know?
exactly right.
What would you say?
Don't mind the mailman.
I was just thinking, it's
Don't
like,
cut my
'cause you know what it is, Tim? It's like
lifeline.
Aliens, like a real movie, and I was just hoping like one time we'd just be like, let's just be a little professional on this.
Nah, no chance.
Yeah.
You guys
Welcome
let it
back.
build up. Okay, it's
your
built
He's
up.
out of his egg now.
He's
The
out of
skin's
the egg,
off.
just like the little aliens.
off.
But we'll get there. So this week we're doing Alien. Next week we're doing Aliens. Then the following 2 weeks we'll be going back to where it all began, the MCU. It will be our great Marvel re-rank. And then Captain America, Brave New World after that. After that, we're coming back to this franchise. Predator 1, Predator 2, Alien 3, Alien 4. All right?
Yeah.
I don't want to go past that because who the hell knows what the hell's going to happen.
But the series will
that's-
go past that.
Yes. And after that, we will. But it's just going to be a while because there's a lot of movies backed up after that. New franchises. I think we're returning to The Karate Kid.
Oh,
Andy
shit.
Cortez with Karate Kid Legends.
I haven't seen any of those freaks. Oh, the Netflix. I didn't finish it.
You're only a man.
Well, you better catch up. You only got a couple of weeks. We're doing that as a screencast. Because TV shows now, screencasts, everybody. Cobra Kai, the end of Cobra Kai, the end of an era. Around Valentine's Day. I think we're recording it on your birthday, actually.
Oh,
a little birthday
happy
present
birthday.
for you. Anyways, we'll get to all that stuff later because we got to get into Alien, released on May 25th, 1979. months before Nick Scarpino was even born.
That's right. May. Yeah.
Directed by Ridley Scott with music by Jerry Goldsmith. But it was conducted by Lionel Newman. And that mattered enough that it was one of the first billed things you see on the screen. The conductor. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. You're right.
Do you know who Lionel Newman is? Greg?
Never heard of him.
Lionel Richie's brother. They did in reverse.
Actually,
Names were different back then.
If you're in this musical family, we're the Lionel family, but not our last names.
What
our
do you
first
want to
names.
call him? Newman.
the musical family,
Richie, get
in
your
fact,
brother.
is the Newman part, not the Lionel part. Because remember, Lionel Newman, brother of Alfred Newman and Emil Newman, uncle of composers Randy Newman,
Oh, yeah.
David Newman, Thomas
Oh,
Newman,
wow.
Maria Newman, and grandfather of Joey Newman.
There's
Joey, the new Newman.
And we gotta save this cat.
Josie. Josie.
Why didn't we follow quarantine? You know?
Andy, let me ask you a question. You're in this situation, right? You go back for the cat?
Fucking no. Fucking no.
Neither, dude.
The cat treated her like
sorry,
shit anyway at the end.
Josie sucked.
I saw this and I was just like, I don't care if it's Portillo. I'm out.
Yeah.
See ya. You know what I mean? We got
Scary
bigger
ass
problems
alien.
going on here.
Yep.
Why'd the alien leave him alive? I know we're jumping ahead a little
The
bit.
cat?
Yeah. Sees him in the box.
It's chill.
You have to think of it this way. Alien's like 7 feet tall.
Mhm.
This cat's a little snack to him. Doesn't really matter. Also, that's my favorite shot in the whole movie is when he it rack focuses from the cat in the cage to the alien realizing that the cat's leaving and the alien has to leave. It's fucking cool. It's
Cool
just
stuff, man. This one had a budget of $11 million on a box office of $187 million. In terms of awards, in 2002, Alien was deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant by the Library of Congress and was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. In 2008, it was ranked by the American Film Institute as the 7th best film in the science fiction genre and the 33rd greatest film of all time by Empire. It initially received mixed reviews, but it won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, 3 Saturn Awards, and a Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation. What I find, I don't want to hate too much. I love this movie. Just want to get
Okay.
that out of the way
Okay,
before
good.
we
Okay,
get
wow,
some
okay.
stuff. A couple things I have big problems with.
What you got, Big Dog?
And one of my big problems with, maybe I am just completely off base on, because one of these awards, these Saturn Awards, was Best Supporting Actress. for
They made it on
Cartwright.
Earth.
For Veronica Cartwright?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love her in this.
I hate her in
the
this.
whole
You're supposed to.
time.
Hate her
You're supposed to.
so much in this.
It's not a matter of hate. It's just a matter of she's the character that just kind of loses it. And I think her performance in this is awesome.
Man, could not disagree more. But we'll talk about that when we get into our thoughts. Speaking of thoughts, Andy, I want to start with you. Have you seen Alien before?
No, this was my first time as an adult watching this movie. I'm recording a track, so I'm trying to keep on tempo. This is my first time watching this movie as an adult. One of those typical in reviews, just like Terminator back in the day. My dad had this movie on a whole lot when I was a kid, so I know all the Family Guy jokes, all that shit. You've heard. If you've seen an interview, you kind of know my backstory with a lot of 80s movies. But this is my first time actually kind of fully watching it as an adult, front to back. And man, watching it's they don't make them like they used to,
They really don't.
There's a different strategy and letting just cameras sit on shit and just letting environment kind of be an actor. This movie kicks ass, dude. I really, really enjoyed it. I kind of felt the same with that actor. I think she was kind of wild. But I don't know, man. They just did such a great job with setting tension, setting the mood. A little bit too much strobe lights at the end. God damn. That was,
for
I
sure,
had to
for sure.
holy shit,
It was a
man.
brand new technology in 79.
Yeah, they were stoked about it.
It's like when we got Star Wipes or that fucking, what's the music we used in dubstep?
Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
we really abused dubstep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really thoroughly enjoyed my time with this movie. Had an awesome time with it. Stoked for the rest of it because I know a lot of people love Aliens even more.
Gregory.
Hey.
Are you a big Alien fan?
Wow. Great question. I have a great appreciation for Alien, I would say. So me and my dumb friends were Terminator obsessed, as we've talked about. You know what I mean? We would all ride around. I would go out for, in my mom and dad's RV. We'd go to the campsites. We'd take the banana seat bicycle off the back. That was the motorcycle. You'd play Terminator, where one of you ran and hid, and the other, or well, two of you run and hide, the other on the bike tries to find you, like Arnold, you know, from T2.
Sick. Yeah.
Great games. And we had a shotgun that looked way too real. I don't know why they were making shotguns.
They had a shotgun that fired real shells. They're like, that's a shotgun, Greg. That's not a toy.
Anyways, you know, the natural line there then of being obsessed with Schwarzenegger meant you were obsessed with Predator, meant you were obsessed with any other Schwarzenegger movie, which meant you were obsessed with the one, the only, Michael Biehn. So that, of course, led us to
Michael
Aliens
Biehn.
2, or Aliens, I should say, sorry, which then, of course, would lead us to Alien, but as juveniles. We're talking like sub 10-year-olds here watching it. Alien, a much slower movie. So Alien was appreciated. Aliens was beloved. Alien 3 was something we were all excited for. And they're like, oh, this is dog shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, I've been around it, but I would say, especially as we've gone forward, I've fallen off. I still never seen Prometheus. Like Alien 4, that's
Resurrection.
that's the one with Ron Perlman.
Yes,
right?
Ron Perlman, Winona Ryder.
Yeah,
It's
that's
got a
the
great
one that I've
cast.
seen
It's a weird
on
one.
USA,
Yeah.
like midway through
Hell
or
yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean? So to jump back to Alien and what we're talking about today, this is my first time watching it as an adult. Sit down, I'm watching the entire way, start to finish, but not my first time ever seeing the film. So it was one of those. I was actually, when I sat down, prepared to see a whole bunch of brand new stuff, and by the end I was like, oh no, I have seen this movie enough that it was all assembled in my brain, at least in somewhat of the correct order. But what a film, you know what I mean? I think, again, so funny, you know, for what a movie is in 1979, what a movie is in general, what this franchise goes on to become, right? Like such humble beginnings of such a small character piece, you know, a sci-fi film to its core, an alien that like,
We do, yeah.
You gotta appreciate it, don't you?
Totally.
Embraces.
Yeah. Even when he's like all tired on the escape shot, he goes, yeah.
You know, there was like 1 second more of that shot in the director's cut where he goes, hey, come on.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, yeah, I mean, what a film, what a fun time, what you know, what a tense time. I mean, it's, you know, such a great horror movie of like, why are you doing this? Why is that decision? Why the fuck's going on with that? And you know, even
They split up at every given
of
opportunity.
course. And again, like I wish the one thing I wish I could have erased from my brain to get back to this, which would be impossible with all the sequels, right? Would be Ash and that reveal, right? Of knowing he's an android or
Yeah,
whatever
That was
watching
cool.
it.
I had no idea.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to hear you guys who haven't seen it talk about that.
Gia's mind was blown
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
moment. I had remembered it from the one time I watched it, and I
Yeah.
forgot. And then when I started seeing the white stuff, I was like, oh, I remember what's about to happen. She was like, what the fuck?
And
Which
it's
is
such
very
a,
cool.
It's such an interesting one, and correct me if I'm wrong, please. But it's such an interesting one of knowing that information from a previous watch and watching it again. Like when it starts happening, it's so like there haven't been that many nods to it. There haven't been that many things I feel that the movie tells you to be like on the lookout that this guy might be an android or whatever.
Well, you don't have any watching this movie for the first time, you don't even know there is such a thing in this universe as
Yeah.
a synthetic life form.
So when it starts going wigging out, I'm like, I can only imagine what this
Yeah.
must have been like for Gia.
Yeah, exactly. And it's less the clues that there's an android. Not that I saw that, but like just clues that you should be suspicious of this
Oh,
guy.
for
There's
sure.
been like,
Ash
oh, he
is up
just
to some
joined the
shit.
team.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like,
Yeah,
oh,
there's the
this
moment
is-
where
this
Sigourney Weaver's like,
yeah.
I don't trust him.
Yeah.
And to that degree, like Ian Holm does just such a good job of, while all the other characters are reacting in a terrified way, he's like interesting. Like,
Are they though?
what's that?
I feel like one of my biggest criticisms of this movie is like no one seems scared until like it's in their face.
Well,
Like,
think about it,
they're
right,
walking
though,
around
like-
this room just like Jonesy.
Yeah,
Jonesy!
I agree.
But you have to remember also, like up until basically the last like 15 minutes of the movie, they don't really know what this thing is. The last time they saw it, it was a face hugger, and then when it pops
No,
out
it's
of
a little
the,
guy, yeah.
well, it pops out of the chest, it's just this little tiny thing. So they just think they're hunting something the size of a cat.
Yeah,
They don't know that in
that has
5
acid
minutes,
blood, yeah.
this thing grows to the size of a massive, like nightmarish monster. And so by the time she sees, like, I think Sigourney Weaver sees it for the first time when she comes around the corner with
Killing the
Jonesy,
two
and it's
friends,
like,
yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
like, what is that thing? And that's when she runs back to try to stop the self-destruct. I could be wrong. She might have seen it when it killed
And Parker sees
Parker.
it and is telling them that it's huge, it's fucking huge.
which is weird
man.
because Parker, that was a part that was cut out, I think. There's actually a 3 hour, I think the original cut was like 3 hours. So there are parts of it where I think he saw it. Because there are some weird edits here where he's like, this thing's huge, man. You're like,
Yeah.
you haven't seen it. We
I'm-
didn't see you see it as an
Yeah.
audience member.
I'm so glad that
But they don't
you're-
believe him. They're like, what? We don't know what this thing is.
I'm so glad you're telling me that because without those cuts, if I were the other crew, I'd be like, Parker's killing everybody.
Yeah.
Parker is the only one who saw it lift homeboy
Mm.
in the bottom of the work, when he lifts him up or
Yeah,
whatever,
where all
the
the
old
fucking
guy.
chains are there.
And then, he's like, oh, man, this thing was huge. I can't believe it took him. And then when fucking Dallas is in the thing, and he goes down there and he's like, all we found was the flamethrower. It's like, Hey Parker, what? You're the only one. Who,
Yeah.
like,
But I don't.
What
but
are you
I-
doing? You
but I
have the
don't
evidence.
know what. I don't think they know quite what they're dealing with until it's too late, and then she sees it and she's like, "Fuck," That's like, yeah. Anyway,
Totally.
that's where that goes.
Before I get to your thoughts, I forgot to ask you, Andy. So, what is your history with the Alien franchise?
I've seen. Oh gosh. Well, I'm not going to future spoiler one of the future Alien movies, but I have seen Prometheus a couple times. And like I know nobody loves that movie. I really kind of dig the movie.
my wife,
But, like,
my wife loves it.
I just dig more of
She-
like the sci-fi concept,
Yeah,
not
that's
necessarily
what
like
she likes
what
about it.
happens in the movie.
That's
but
what she likes about it too. She's like, it's like weird.
I think it's just so
Kinda heady.
creative. Yeah, with kind of creating the pass order. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just that, and then along with when it comes to the Predator movies, I've seen Prey. We saw the first Predator. Remember we had that watch party with James and Lisa here.
We did.
I saw Predator 2 on a fucking, summer afternoon on HBO. I was like, man, Danny Glover is hot out there, Like, he's sweaty. He's so sweaty. But yeah, as far as Alien movies goes, it's pretty much, this was the first one that I watched in a long time front to back, and I've seen Prometheus and Aliens. I've just kind of seen stills and different parts of that throughout my childhood as well. But the other ones, I don't really have any clue. I have no idea.
Nick, what about you?
For me, my entry point into the series was Aliens. So that movie came out, I believe, in '86, and I could be misremembering it, but I'm pretty sure I saw it in theaters, which
Nice.
sounds nuts because I was 6 years old, and there's no way my parents should have been allowed me to do that. But I distinctly remember a tagline of some sort where like the second will like blow you out of the back of the theater. And I remember we were sitting in the back of the theater. I was like, I don't want to get blown out of the back of the theater. and then I remember being like, it's I remember falling in love with that movie, being terrified of it, but wanting to watch it over and over again. My dad being pissed off because we took all of his PVC pipe and
Yep.
made all the colonial marine shit,
Yep.
including like the helmets and all. Like we made all the guns and like we're walking
Dude,
around
that's
with like
so cool.
with like his duct tape. And he's like, that was like $40 worth of duct tape and PVC pipe. And we're like, but it's so cool. And no one wanted to be Hudson. You'll get that next week. But then I distinctly remember there was a moment where I was like, that's so cool. This movie's called Aliens. And I don't know if it was my parents or if it was the guy at my local video store who was like, that's a sequel, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? And then you'd go and because I remember seeing this, but I never put two and two together because the cover for Aliens was, I guess maybe it was different. And I remember like when it came off the new shelf and went to like the old school shelf,
It's right next to
it's right
Alien.
next to Alien. I was like, what? And I turned it over and I saw Sigourney Weaver with the longer hair. And I'm like, wait, there's another one of these that happened before this? And I watched it and I was blown away. And then I'm like, whoa, that makes a lot of sense. And you'll see next week because that one starts off and it's clearly a sequel.
Very cool.
I love this movie. I think from a production standpoint, it is, from a production design standpoint, it is one of the most stunning movies of its time. And putting it contextually, like, you have to give credit to Dan O'Bannon, Shusett, and
Dan O'Bannon.
Dan O'Bannon.
Can't say that name without
and the
that.
creative team, Ridley Scott and all those guys, because, there wasn't really anything like this back then. Star Wars A New Hope was huge. 2001 A Space Odyssey was huge. You had movies like Star Trek The Motion Picture that was like, hey, we're going to make 2001 A Space Odyssey, but we're going to try to do our own take on that with Star Trek, and that failed miserably because it was just boring as hell. And so for him to look at and sort of be inspired by A New Hope and inspired by 2001 and be like, what if we could take that into space and basically make Jaws in space, which is how this was pitched, and then have it be as good as this movie is and as iconic as this movie is, and then as enduring as it is just a testament to how awesome that crew was that worked on this. And I just give a shout out to Sigourney Weaver for just being like hard, not hard carrying the movie, but being just like the Ripley character in this specifically. Obviously Ripley iconic, one of the most iconic like heroines and heroes basically of the silver screen. But I think Sigourney Weaver brings such a level of groundedness to this. And I love her character because she's the only one who's like,
Follow quarantine.
yeah,
Don't
what are
do
we doing?
this. Why
Right?
are we doing this?
And she's fighting sort of that, either the fear of the corporation or, she has that altruism to it. And I think Sigourney just brings that awesome dimension to this role.
100%.
Yeah, so I'd seen this movie when I was like 15 or something, and like I appreciated it. I liked it a lot then, but I remember it being really slow and stuff. And then I was hyped on it though, and I was like, oh man, I hear the next one's what everyone loves. It's more action focused, and I convinced a group of my friends to watch it like during college or something, like at one of our like like hangouts,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which meant I didn't really watch the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't wait for next week to see what actually happens there. Then I saw Alien versus Predator in theaters with Alfredo, and then I saw Prometheus in theaters with Alfredo because he was a big Aliens person. That's it. So I haven't seen any Predator, and I haven't seen the majority of these Alien movies. So I'm incredibly excited, and we are starting off on a very, very, very good foot because this movie is freaking incredible, man. Like I was blown away from the jump of the production design, and mostly by realizing that Nintendo ripped them the fuck off, and Metroid has nothing unique about it.
Oh, really?
At all,
Interesting.
whatsoever. Like it's insane. Like even the escape sequence at the end and Ripley. I'm like, okay. Female, the heroine, it's like her in the underwear and stuff. I'm like, this is crazy. Like Nintendo, you should be sued. You keep suing everybody.
This
but
is before
come
they
on.
had international law really figured out, you know.
But like, it is like kind of wild. Like they clearly were like, oh, let's just make an Alien video game, but for kids, and make her a bounty hunter, which is dope as shit.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, this movie, you said Jaws in space. Like that's such a great way to put it because it's just such a great sci-fi horror movie that doesn't like go too hard or go too far. Like I love how limited it all is. I love that the world is so black and white in a cool way where like the Nostromo is such a well-designed ship.
The Nostromo.
And just come on.
It's cool as hell.
I love that the title card just giving you everything you need to know of like the crew, what their mission is, like all that stuff.
Minor.
Okay, kind of sick.
7 people in this movie. That's it.
I love that you kind of get a countdown, right? You're like, all right, cool. Like, how many are there going to be by the end of it, right? But that was so cool. And seeing the ship and all the production design in the very first shots of the movie as the camera's kind of just going through, introducing you to the halls and stuff. Everything has this like sick ass white look, but it's very different than like the Empire ships from Star Wars. And then later getting into the alien ship and everything looking like organic and black. I'm like, this is so well thought out. And I feel like so much of this tells a story without them saying anything, which reminds me of Metroid a lot. But very, very cool stuff throughout the entirety of it. Some stuff's weird and comes out of nowhere. It's fun and twisty, and I feel fits the world like the Android stuff. But I feel like that could have been explained a little bit more. But also, I buy it. I get it.
Contextually too, and no future spoilers, but obviously we know like androids are a thing in the Alien universe. And so for me, watching the second one first and getting a little bit more context for how they exist, going into that didn't ever stick out to me. But I can like seeing that now, I'm like, yeah, that'd be weird as fuck. Like, why is he a robot? Is anyone going to explain that? Why does he have milk for blood?
I mean, when you see that moment of the sweat kind of looking milky and like, I immediately was like, oh my god, that kind of looks like when I was watching Nick play Alien Isolation, and the enemies just kind of like have this
spurt white.
Dude, it was so weird looking.
Yeah,
cool as hell, man.
But I usually don't like the slow play stuff. Love to hear. I thought that they just did a very good job of like leaving you in the world and making you feel and believe what they were setting up. And this being 1979, what a goddamn accomplishment. Like it is just so
practical
so cool.
sets.
Practical
awesome.
sets.
Very practical.
Models that look amazing. Those moments where like we'll get into the plot in a second, but one of my favorite things about this movie is how it starts, right? It's that title sequence that's pretty iconic. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I read a piece of trivia that said Saul Bass designed the actual lettering and stuff like that. We see the crew of the deep space mining vessel, the Nostromo 7, whatever, they're coming back. And then we get just the shots of the interior. Because you know that at one point, Ridley Scott looked at it and was like, this looks fucking cool.
This sells.
Let's just start the movie with it. And then you get the shots of the bridge. And then those weird ass, they never use them. You never see them again. Just these weird emergency helmets that are just sitting behind them. And then the shot of the screen, and the shot of the helmet, then the shot of the screen, and the shot of the helmet. You're like, why am I so tense right now? And then the screen lights up and it scares the shit out of you.
Yeah.
You see it on the helmet, and it's called Mother.
Mother Brain. I'm telling you,
man.
they should just be sued.
What I loved about those moments of just kind of here's the inside of the ship is like, hey, this isn't gonna look like this later. So look at how it is
And
now.
it's not gonna be this peaceful.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
But everybody's asleep still in their pods, and kind of get ready for the chaos that's gonna happen later. It's so cool. Man.
So I absolutely loved it. Like on the kind of funny scale, I'd give it a 9 out of 10 because I think it is such an incredible 1979. I can't believe they pulled so much off, but it is not without criticism. I do feel like some of the, what's her name? Linda Cardellini?
No, Veronica Cartwright.
Yeah, Veronica Cartwright really didn't like what she brought to the table here. And I think that story-wise, character-wise, some stuff just feels very just I just don't understand why they would do the things they're doing. It doesn't feel like it fits in the world. Like the fact that everybody is constantly splitting up, the fact that they do not feel as terrified. Like I get that they didn't see the big guy, but they did see the little thing suck onto a dude.
That's true.
And like essentially kill him, and then kill him, and then burst out of his chest, and then have acid blood. And they're just walking around the rooms like minorly like, where is this little thing? Didn't like that.
You let the cat go get it on your own. Like,
and that dude's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do that. Like I didn't like that stuff. And then like Andy said, I thought that the strobe light stuff was like incredibly overused. And I get that they want you to feel like you're there and feel the tension. It's like, okay, cool. I'm now upset at this as opposed to feeling immersed. Yeah. And that's
I
the
had
same
to turn
thing
away at the end. I was like, God, it kind of hurts.
The sound design, when it hits, oh my God, it hits. But there are minutes of this movie that are just.
Yeah, I was
like
wondering if maybe that was
horrible.
my speaker of my TV that wasn't set up for like Dolby, because there's a high pitched scream slash like white noise sound that happens when the alien's on screen. That I was like, that takes you out of it a little bit.
It's anytime the alien's there, but mainly my criticism is when they land on the planet.
yeah,
Anytime, and I get what they were doing, and it does work a bit where it cuts from on the ship, it's dead silent, and then they're outside and it's just chaos. But it's like, okay, show us once or twice. Like we don't need literal minutes of this like sound. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the negatives. Otherwise, like, goddamn, this shit is awesome.
Really, really cool.
Andy Cortez, are you ready to get us to the plot?
Yes.
Good. After a quick word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends over at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, exchange them for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. Y'all know I've been outside a lot in the sun playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing my Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. Exclusively for you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That's shadyrays.com. Use the code FUNNY. This episode is brought to you by Rocket Money. You sign up for something, forget about it after the trial period ends, then you're charged month after month after month. The subscriptions are there, but you're not using them. In fact, 85% of people have at least one paid subscription going unused each month. Thanks to Rocket Money, you can see all your subscriptions in one place and cancel the ones that you're not using anymore and save more money. Rocket Money has helped multiple members of Kind of Funny learn that they are still paying for things they totally didn't even realize. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and match your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/kindoffunny today. That's rocketmoney.com/kindoffunny. rocketmoney.com/kindoffunny.
Nostromo has a gatto, ashes robato, Nostromo. Nostromo. That's what I got.
And he made that while we started recording.
Andy, that was incredible.
I was in my car wash. I got a car wash a little while ago. I was like, oh, fuck, I got a stupid plot song. God damn it.
I love that so much.
good.
Kevin, can I tell the story real quick?
Yeah, I guess.
One of my favorite Kevin Coelho stories that I've told all of you before, but everybody needs to know. We were 12 years old, taking a bus down to Lake Tahoe. We're me, Cool Greg, and Kevin trading off our Game Boy.
It's a really long ride. It's a really long ride.
Yeah, it's like a multi-hour drive.
Yeah, it's
okay,
like an 8-hour, maybe 10-hour trip.
bus ride, and we're trading our Game Boy Advance back and forth, playing Donkey Kong Country. Meanwhile, the new technology, like CD players and headphones are a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin, headphones, CD player. He has one song on loop the entire time. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. And Kevin, with the headphones on, singing out loud randomly throughout the entire
Sometimes
drive.
music just hits, you know?
I am a modern man.
He's so cool. And he's so cool. You can just do this.
What a good
Parker
song.
wants a race.
Greggy?
Welcome to Alien, everybody. As we've already said multiple times, you're on the Nostromo, which has been a name I've been struggling to remember.
I love it.
Nostromo.
Nostromo, yeah, but it's like Nostradamus, but then it's Nostromo. You're
Well,
on the
apparently they
Nostromo.
got the word, the name when I guess one of the writers or producers was got it from a Joseph Conrad novel and was like, "That's it means." I guess he's like, when people are like, "What does it mean? What's the significance?" He goes,
Sounds cool.
"It just sounds cool."
And it
All you
does.
need.
They're on their way back to Earth, or so they would think. But guess what? On the way there, they get interrupted by Mother, waking them all up because what? We will eventually find there's a distress signal that's been found and that they're being called down to, or at least that's what they'll tell Dallas. Yeah.
I have one minor. I don't have any criticisms. I like Veronica Cartwright. I like everything. I don't care how goofy the alien looks falling out of the thing at the end. I don't like whatever. Why'd they put John Hurt in this little diaper? Why's he got to wear the little diaper? Everyone else gets normal underwear.
No.
He wakes up and he's just like in this weird diaper
looking-
thing.
I'm
It's-
looking
Sigourney
up.
Weaver does not have normal underwear.
That is
What
space
the fuck
underwear.
are
That
those
is
things?
true.
There's space
There's
underwear.
space
That's
underwear?
space
Is
70s
there any
underwear.
explanation for this?
No. That is, I
I'm
think
sure.
that's,
I would assume that the corporation that is never named here, right?
I don't know that they bring in
We're
Merlin
always called
Yutani.
the corporation, the company here. I just assume they're cutting every corner they can possibly do. So here, the smallest underwear possible.
It's just a little triangle.
I think
it's
it
not
was
even
the
covering her
70s.
crack.
I think that's the style of what underwear was back then. But it's odd that they were like, you're gonna get naked here. It's a weird moment for that. And yeah, that's always one of those scenes where you watch it now in the year 2025 and you're like, why? Why did she have to be like that? Yeah, he's in this weird.
Oh, he
like-
does have a diaper, yeah.
Remember, he's European, so that's probably why.
That's fair. It's English.
Mm.
Of course, they all start waking up from their little sleep pods, as you see there.
John Hurt wakes up first, of course, first to die.
Is that you? So they get up and they all start making their coffee and having their breakfast, and the coffee's the only thing good on the ship. We get a lot of lovely crew banter here. We
great.
set up some
Stopping right
mistakes,
there.
please.
Another great choice by Ridley Scott here was basically turn the camera on and tell your crew who's been hanging out to just talk. And you wouldn't get this in any other movie because there's nothing really audible about this. They're talking about like past this, what's this, I want to rate, whatever.
Subtitles can't even keep up.
You can't keep up.
Yeah, they're
and
not
that's
supposed
Question
to.
mark, question
and I
mark,
think
question
he did that on purpose to be like, these guys they're deep space truckers, basically. They're kind of blue collar-ish. They've been around each other forever. They would be friends. There would be this banter around this. And it really makes this scene for me feel like real.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, as you said, the banter eventually goes to Parker and Brett trying to negotiate more, negotiate a full share, which already tells us, they're the gearheads. They're not the scientists. They're not the actual astronauts here, which they're not. They're the maintenance crew, basically, right?
Love these guys.
Of course. There's a fun banter about that. Hooray, hooray, hooray. But then Ash gets a word that Mother is calling Dallas, our captain, down to the Mother pod. So he heads down there.
I mean, come on. Dallas.
Where did we last see Dallas, Andy Cortez?
Top Gun.
Top Gun 1.
Oh, shit.
I didn't remember that. He just looked familiar, and I Googled it. I was like, oh, yeah.
Guy's a handsome son of a bitch,
Viper.
man. God,
He's
he
in a
was
lot of
handsome
things.
as hell, dude.
He goes down there and
Good
starts
hair.
getting his messages, of course. Meanwhile, upstairs, everybody reports to their crew assigned positions, where suddenly they realize something's not right. They don't know what that star system is there. We're not where we should be. Ripley keeps saying we're not in our solar system, whatever she says.
She has a
But-
great way, too, where it's like, she's like, we're not, I'm telling you, we're not in our solar system.
Yeah.
And
And Lambert's like, I know. Yeah, great. I know.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. We get it.
Yeah.
Know it all, right? Dallas comes up with bad news, of course. It's the fact that we are not on our way to home. We are not that close to Earth like we hoped. We are not on the outer rim. We have intercepted, our Mother has intercepted a distress call, and we're going to go check it out. To which immediately Parker's like, the fuck we are. I didn't sign up for that. That's not the thing. To which, of course, Ash has already established how much Parker and Brett want money. Ash flips on him, is like, of course, sub paragraph 12 of your contract
Right.
says if you don't go do this, you get no money. So you have to go do this.
And that's mirrored later in the scene where Ripley pulls Dallas aside. And she's like, we shouldn't be doing any of this. And he's like, we just do whatever the fucking corporation
Yeah.
tells us to. Like,
Yeah,
let's be
exactly.
honest who we are here.
Cogs
based on
in a
that.
wheel.
Like, we're just going to do what they tell us to because they have all the cards. And it's a shitty place to be. It's a great place to put your characters in because they're desperate. They don't get their shares unless they go to this thing.
But when they're talking to Mother, you're like, what do these lights do? What are these lights in
Yeah.
here for? It's cool.
So sick.
It just
Love
looks
that
cool.
room.
I just love the tiny little tube
Yeah,
TV.
exactly.
Tiniest little tube
And it's
TV
like
you ever
across
seen in
the
your
screen,
life.
too.
And they're kind of all around the room, but it's
Yeah.
just hilarious that like when they show it kind of reminds me of like looking at the old model Nintendo Switch with the bezel.
Yeah.
It's like here's this wall, tiny little fucking screen.
I love also the buttons too. Like the buttons aren't like WASD. They're weird iconic like the icon iconography on the buttons are just like weird.
Oh, I
And-
didn't even notice that. That's
yeah,
cool.
some of it's like it's not like a standard or there is a standard keyboard, but all around there's like little weird symbols and shit everywhere of like what is this?
Yeah, when they're talking to Mother, especially when Sigourney Weaver goes down there,
Yeah.
you get a lot of close-ups on the weird buttons.
yeah, it's weird.
From there, we get a picture-perfect landing on this place. No, we don't actually. It looks fine until the very last second, and then they kind of just drop, and everything breaks loose. All hell breaks
Yeah,
loose.
we got
There's
a hull
steam pouring
breach.
in. Well, they don't have a hull breach. That was the concern because they'd be dead, right? There's a lot of concerns. Is it a hull breach? No, but X, Y, and Z is all wrong on the
Right.
fucking ship. Parker and Brett immediately run down there
Yeah,
to
that's
see
so
what's up.
cool. Like what is that? It's so cool.
It's
That's
Avid.
rad.
That's
Yeah.
the
It's Avid.
That's the
That's so
self-destruct
funny.
button, but it does look like Avid. Holy
does
shit.
look like Avid,
That's
right?
That's a good pull.
Parker and Brett go investigate. They're calling back up there. All hell's breaking loose. Sigourney Weaver's doing this thing, blah, 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 blah. There's a conversation of how long it'll take, which I love. How long's it? And then Brett, Parker and Brett are like, how long is it
17
take?
hours, 18 hours.
And then he's like, calls back. He's like, at least
25
26 hours.
So
You know?
good.
Yeah. While this is happening, of course, they're like, well, we should go out and investigate this signal, right? Ash is going to run basically Hawkeye, the lookout there, be on top of it. Overwatch, Dallas, Lambert, and Kane are going to go out there. No, guys, not the big red machine who's the mayor in Tennessee.
Oh,
Different
man.
Kane.
Wow.
He's going to go out there.
Undertaker's brother.
They get ready to head out there. Sigourney Weaver. See, that's
pull.
Avid,
That's
everybody, if
great.
you don't know what Avid
That's
is.
amazing. That was the Avid.
Sigourney Weaver goes down there to talk to Brett and Parker. They're like screaming over the smoke and being dicks to her or whatever, and she walks off. They just turn it off like a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's another little good moment in there.
And I don't think I ever caught that sort of divide between the crew, like the executive branch of the crew and then the sort of gearheads until this time, where they really don't like anyone except for each other.
Yeah.
And then and also just shout out to the actors. Harry Dean Stanton, of course, has been in everything. And then Yaphet Kotto, who I actually only know from Live and Let Die. He was in a Bond movie. And so I know him from that. So seeing him in this, it's cool as well.
Is he the one that always just says okay or whatever? it
No,
was?
no, that's Harry Dean
That's
Stanton.
Harry Dean Stanton.
cool.
That's
I like
part.
him
Yeah,
a
it's
lot.
part. Or it's Brett.
Yeah, when the two maintenance dudes are down there and Sigourney Weaver's like, I'm going to head down there. And they're like,
I'm like,
"The
why are
fuck
you coming
for-"
down here?
Like,
Why
why
is
is she better?
why is
man,
she
I'm gonna
coming
give her
down
a
here?
piece of my work. God damn, everybody is
Yeah.
like very
Yeah.
on edge there.
They're high strung.
Yeah. Scary out there. What are you gonna do in
Meanwhile-
space.
Nobody can hear you scream.
No
You know what I mean? This is where we're on the very, very loud planet, of course.
Yeah.
Also, Ash seems way too excited about this entire thing.
He's horny
You know what
for
I
it.
mean? Yeah, he's.
He does that thing. Was like, and then
yeah,
gets in
yeah.
the seat. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
he's warming up for it. I'm like, wow. psychotic.
Yeah, Kane, Lambert, and Dallas make their way through this horrible looking environment. You know what I mean? Just terrible out there.
So pausing here, of course. Oh,
Please.
sorry. Let's get to the ship first.
Oh,
But
sure.
I do love that. At one point, Lambert is like, at every point, she's like, we should not do this. We should turn back. And then once they get on the ship, she's like, we should turn back. And it's like, nobody listened to her.
Yeah.
That's why she's pissed.
But yeah, they crest over a hill, and there it is, a giant U-shaped thing that they all go, what the fuck, this is crazy. And I could have gone for a little bit more, what the fuck, this is crazy, because I had to confirm with Jen, who's actually seen all the Alien movies, a few things, to make sure I was right as a novice to this point, or at least, where my knowledge ends. But
Meaning,
I don't want to get it. Well, I mean, all these
Oh.
fucking spaceships look weird to me.
God, well, yeah, this one looking like a double-sided dildo. It's like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck?
So-
a lot of phallic imagery here.
So
The
on that note,
gung-ho image.
so we should pause here to talk about sort of the person responsible for all of that, right? Which is HR. I want to say Giger is how you
Giger.
pronounce that, right? So the story goes, Dan O'Bannon had worked with a guy named Alejandro Jodorowsky when he had the original rights to make a Dune movie. And that movie, of course, there's a documentary on Netflix about it called Jodorowsky's Dune. Highly recommend you watch it. But in that, he put together an amazing crew of people, one of whom was H.R. Giger, another one was a guy named Mobius, another one, all these great designers and production designers.
Shut the fuck up.
Super cool, right? All of them did all this great
Starscream.
concept art. And then, of course, that movie fell through. And so Ridley kind of took a lot of those people. Some of them went to like the next Star Wars movie, but a lot of them came over to work on this. But H.R. Giger was definitely like known for this level of
standout.
crazy violent sexual phallic imagery. So every time you see the alien and it's that organicness, it's not just organic, it's phallic, it's glistening. It's
Veiny.
dripping.
Impossibly
It's veiny. Even as they enter into the ship, you see the openings of them, which look like like a vaginal opening. You see later that you would see not in this one, but the face hugger that has sort of like it has a phallus, but it has sort of a vaginal. So a lot of that is sort of used to specifically like a specific intent for this, especially as it starts to sort of like assault the men first in this. And it all sort of has that psychological effect on the audience of being the antithesis of the harsh tech, and then B, just being like fucking just hyper, like
what do we call
hyper
this?
insulting,
organic,
Techno-organic?
yeah,
probably.
there's definitely a sort of category that it falls into, but yeah, I think all that stuff is just so damn cool. I really need to check out that documentary. I remember I was talking about that on a Kind of Funny podcast a long time ago.
It came out a while ago. I think it came out pre-pandemic, but it's fucking cool because
Yeah.
you see all of his like. He did the ship design for Baron Harkonnen, and it's like just a face. It's like the Baron's face with like, and then the people would come out of its mouth, and so you see sort of some of that stuff just made it over to here. It's really, really cool. I definitely recommend checking that out. And then Mobius was the one who was, I think he was a graphic novelist, and he did all the ship designs basically. So you'd see the ship designs, and those you could see just like all the DNA come into this, and it's fucking
Yeah,
rad.
designed all these ships. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that right there.
good,
Look at
good.
that. That's so cool. So that's a lot of the concept art that he
That's really
did.
cool. That's some good information, Nick. I like that.
Thanks.
Nick.
Dallas,
Highly
Lambert, and Kane go in and they make their way to the ship. And as they get closer, we start to lose signal, eventually completely losing it. Back on the ship, this doesn't worry Ash. It does worry Ripley, who's like, whatever became of that signal? He's like, well, fuck if I know. Fucking mother's working on it. She can't even crack it. And she's like, well, can I go look at it? And he's like, knock yourself out, right? Of course, this is fishy in the long run. But she goes down there and starts cracking on it just to toss it in here. She eventually is able to get through some of it and comes up and is like, this doesn't seem like an SOS. This seems like a warning.
Yeah.
And she's like, we got to tell them communications are down. I'm going to put on a suit and go. What's the point? If it's a warning, by the time you get there, it'll be too late. They'll know. We cut back to the ship, right?
So good, dude.
Where they
I love that every 12 seconds we're getting this message, and it's like SOS. I'm like, fuck, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to the use of video in this as well, which is very off-putting and a great device that will be used later to isolate the audience and to create tension with the audience because
Explain,
you're
what do you
watching the video signals that we're seeing through their cameras. It's not clear, right? It's hazy. It cuts in and out, and when you're watching through their perspective on that, that gives you as an audience member it builds the tension in you because you don't have control over the sight of what they're seeing, right?
Got it.
So you'll see that for a future spoiler. You'll see it later in the Alien franchise as a device, as signals are popping in and out to tell as a visual storytelling means.
Okay.
It's really
you want
cool.
to listen to a cool song? It just made me think of Alien all the time. A song by Cody and Cameron called "Delirium Trigger." Google that shit, chat. Just like the lyrics are just sick as shit. Systems malfunction, blasted this damn machine. They're like a parasitic cyst. I can't bear to watch. It's coming up and out of your chest. It's like, oh, this is so cool.
Alien, baby.
I wanted to. We have to also make it canon that to go along with this interview, we also have to watch all of Nick's playthrough
Of Alien Isolation.
Yeah, of Alien Isolation.
Well, it's very cool because I was watching
it's a
this
sequel, right?
It is a sequel
Barfly,
that
yeah.
happens in between. Basically, I want to say it happens in between this movie and Aliens, and so it's. I don't know if you know who the
Is that
protagonist.
true?
Yeah, because it picks up with. Have you played Isolation?
I mean, yeah, but I know the thing you're dancing around, which I don't think you danced around. But like, it's supposed to be Ripley's daughter, right?
It's Amanda Ripley, yeah, and she's going to look for her mom, who has
How
who is
old
lost.
is she? The daughter.
The daughter's like 30
That can't be right. Then how does that make sense?
Because-
Ripley have a 30-year-old.
because Ripley had her.
That's sleep. You're
left
fucking sleeping.
and was
My
in sleep
apologies.
for
I'm an idiot.
The movies. Well, I don't want to spoil
No
it for
future
Tim.
spoilers.
No,
guys.
no
Come
future
on.
spoilers.
We
Great,
don't know
that's so
how long
cool.
she's been asleep on this machine.
Just introduce a daughter.
But the thing that I wanted to call out because of this playthrough was Nick was the one who taught me about this little light
mist.
layer. Yeah,
Oh
this
my
mist
Which is
and
an
this light.
We're not there
organic-
yet. Can we get there? Can we just
Oh,
get there?
shit,
Can we just
yes,
get there?
sorry.
Sorry. We by the time you'd warn them, they'd be dead. They would know it was warning. We cut back to the ship. They've infiltrated the ship. They are going through. It's all biomechanic. They probably actually before this find a gigantic alien
The jockey,
there, right?
the space
Basically
jockey.
sitting at what to me looks like a telescope, but I'm sure it's the controls or whatever. And he's fucking dead as hell. He's fossilized. And they're like, oh, look at the hole in his chest. And he's like, wait, it's coming outward, right?
So cool.
Yeah. fucking
Everything
really
about
cool.
the scene is perfect. I love them getting into this giant room, and then it's the first time we see an alien in the movie Alien. and
Dude,
you're
the
like, it's
shot.
dead. And what is this? And like, what is he on?
Terrifying.
It's so
the
sick.
massive wide shot of just this gigantic cavern with the tiny little lights rappelling down.
Yeah.
Dude, and they stuck on that shot for so long. It was so damn cool. But the jockey, I still don't quite.
I don't understand it. I've never understood it.
Because part of me feels like they like try to retcon what the actual thing. Because like at first I was like, oh, that's a dude sitting down. But then they made it seem later on that like it opens up and it's a suit and like the person is in that casing.
No spoilers. No future spoilers. We don't have to worry
okay.
about it. When we get there, we'll get there. Because
We'll get
I
there.
don't know
Yeah,
I don't know how we're to see what that means.
So cool.
Anyways, though, they do that. They continue, and then they find a hole that they go down. Or actually, Kane goes down.
A small piece of it might ruin this scene for you because it kind of does for me, but I'll tell you anyway. A small piece of trivia is that in order to get a better sense of scale, Ridley Scott put his kids in the suits. So as they're climbing up,
awesome.
you see them walking around. You can actually see they're smaller if you
No
look closely,
way.
so that
That's
the
cool.
statue itself looks like
That's really
a
neat.
foot taller.
That's
It's pretty fun. yeah.
awesome.
Also, the suits were not properly ventilated, so everyone kept passing out. Because this was back in the 70s. They didn't have LEDs. They had hot lights. So all the actors were like, ugh. And they're like, there
you
you
can
go.
see
We
it.
lost another one.
You see every single line. I mean, I also watched this in 4K, so it's way less forgiving. But like, God, walking in and the CO2 blasters that we have shooting up smoke. I'm just like, okay, alien planet.
Anyways, Kane repels. Oh, right there.
Yeah, see
That's
him?
funny.
Now you can see it now.
So funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You wouldn't clock it, but now you kind of see the proportions are a
That's
little
awesome.
bit off. It's
Yeah,
pretty fun.
I like that
Kinda
a
cool
lot.
they did it.
Kane repels down. He's walking. He looks. He sees just little fucking raisin eggs everywhere, and makes a comment. Yes, that there's a light field there. That's like a security system.
Which is cool because as he crests it, you hear that ee, like as he gets farther into it, it is like an organic alarm system basically for these things to come alive.
This whole thing's so sick as he like rappels down and like the shot of him coming down and it's hard to understand exactly like what he's in. And then you get that wide shot and you're like, wow, that long cavern thing he's in is just one of hundreds of these things. And you like see them go down and I love the smoke and I love the blue light and all the eggs. I mean, like everything about this room, I'm like, this might be the coolest room in the movie.
Here's a question I have for you three fine gentlemen. I've worked alongside of you for many years. At what point during this process would you three have turned around?
So much sooner. I don't understand.
Because for me, it would have been the big guy in the chair. I'd have been like,
Yeah.
nope.
Cool.
What if
Something
they're
killed him.
still alive?
This is
Yeah.
not a distress signal. We don't
Yeah.
need to worry
We gotta
about
get the
this.
fuck outta here.
Also,
Take a picture, get back.
I didn't love the way the dude got down there. It like
Where he slips?
He was like, "Oh, I slipped,"
He's
yeah, what happened?
He slips. He slips and then
slips.
slides on down.
but it looked
into
like he was trying to
Wasn't
trick
well
us.
shot. Yeah,
Well, I mean, he's
exactly.
acting,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
he can't.
He was like, "Oh, I slipped," and it was like, "Oh, it looks like you wanted to get down."
Yeah.
I don't know, it looked
he
weird.
didn't. I assure you, he didn't want to do that. He gets down there though and goes to investigate an egg, right? And what does he find? He sees that the movement's there. Oh my gosh, something's happening.
Shines the light in, and you can see it's like there's an organic movement in here. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
There's also just to note, there's a translucency to the aliens and to the eggs in this that I don't think they ended up doing later. I think they ended up sort of like making the alien a little darker. But there are shots in this where you can see through the alien's like skull. And you can, like its face, the skin, and you can
Exoskeleton.
see the skull on the inside of it with like the eyes. It's really cool.
So sick. Yeah, seeing through the egg, it's like that is moment number 10 of like
Turn the fuck
outta here.
around.
Don't try to pry the thing.
Yeah, then he goes and like
open.
works on the egg. I'm like, fuck off, dude. What are you doing?
dude?
Of course, though, the egg does open, peel back. It's all membraney and icky in there, right? Just disgusting. And then we cut. What we cut to, of course, Dallas and Lambert dragging Kane's ass back to the ship or whatever, right? All hell
Another-
breaking loose.
Another moment of Tim mentioning that nobody's scared enough.
Yeah.
Because to me, in these shots, I'm like, oh, they didn't know he got. They're just walking back to the ship.
Yeah, so look at that.
I was
That's cool.
I was expecting them to be like, Dallas, where's fucking Kane? What's his name?
Kane.
Kane.
Where's Kane at? Like, oh, I thought he came back. They're dragging. I need more. I need them dragging. Like, open the goddamn thing. He's got a fucking thing on his face. Like,
My mind is your mind.
Yes.
What movie of a similar ilk am I going to talk about that kind of tension, that kind of scaredness?
It's tough because the movie I'm thinking of you haven't seen, unfortunately.
Really? Well, I'm
Yeah.
going to The Abyss.
Oh,
Ed
okay.
Harris dragging his ex-wife, right? Screaming as in use the wide
And that
shot
wide
where you can
shot
see
is-
how far he is trying to go.
you just would have thought this guy got a concussion, and they're like, hey, he got hit
He's
really
gonna
hard.
be okay though.
Yeah, there's
This
like no
fucker.
yelling. There's no.
Yeah.
like-
Especially too for like a team that
Drank too
they
much.
aren't like they aren't the Colonial Marines. They weren't sent on a mission to do this. Like I would understand more if you're like, all right, guys, suit up. The objective is to infiltrate, do this thing, get this. There's risks. We're a bunch of fucking, what are they, miners or scientists?
They're basically miners. Yeah, I mean, they'd be like oil drillers, I guess,
Yeah,
would be the closest thing. The weird thing, and I don't quite have the answer for this, is I don't think that it's really been established in this universe that extraterrestrial life like exists.
Agreed. That was a question I had.
So I don't know. So if there was like, oh, we sort of know that other species exist, that makes sense that they're not as freaked out by this. But I think I think Ash is like, there's nothing else has ever encountered something like
I'm
this
pretty
before.
sure. I think it's Ash when he has the face hugger up in the.
He's
thing.
like, we can't kill this thing.
He says it's the first.
Yeah.
Alien, but he doesn't say alien, whatever, extraterrestrial or something. He references that this is a fucking breakthrough.
The only.
And when that first distress signal goes out, there is a question like, is it human? Like they have a question that made me feel, they're aware that there are extraterrestrials, but maybe they just haven't
See,
run into one.
I read it more as a question of our boys are flying back from Mars right now and get a thing, and it's like no one else is out here. What the fuck would that be? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyways, we get the trio, really two, and the one guy getting carried. Come to the door, pound on the door, hit the button, let us in. Of course, Ripley, she's third in command. She's the only person on the deck. She says, I can't.
Nope.
You know, that's protocol. We got to get into quarantine. And they say, fuck quarantine, let us in. They argue for a while before Ash, of course, just hits the button and lets them in.
Stupid ass.
Well, he's
Ash.
he's a robot just doing his thing. What was that?
Oh, that's the entry.
Oh, that's the
point
vagina?
into the
Okay.
yeah. Dude, that's
I can
very,
see it.
yeah, very much like a butthole.
They bring him in. There's this whole hullabaloo. They get him into. We jump from this whole thing though to him in the medical bay, right?
Infirmary,
and
yeah,
it
sick
is
bay.
Ash cutting off. Like we get the shot to see the facehugger not only grabbed, smashed through the glass, got in there, and wrapped around his face.
The neck wrap
Yeah.
was
first
such a visual, man.
the sort of cesarean section, like imagery of them cutting through the mask.
And then popping it off and going, oh, geez, they
shit,
all
'cause
react to
this thing's
finally
in
get to
there.
see it. They
Yeah.
couldn't see what it was before, which is
God.
crazy.
And their little cool laser light,
Yeah.
like scalpel, is fucking sweet.
Of course, everybody, who isn't involved in this is watching from the other side of the glass on the outside. Inside, we got Dallas and Ash working on Kane. They do that, and then it is this experiment of like, okay, well, let's try to get it off. And they try to peel, grab with the forceps, grab the finger, and it's tightens around. Okay, it's going to kill him if we do that. What do? Put him into the CT
You go after
unit.
the fucking tail. That's what you do.
And he's got
Stop going at the fingers. Go to the
Yeah,
start at the base
playing
of
with
the
his
tail.
knuckles, like, all right.
The base of the tail.
Andy's got.
But then the acid would have gone through his throat. But who
They don't
cares?
know. They don't know that yet.
Yeah, they don't know that. You're right.
They put him in the CT scanner. They get some stuff. I'm sure maybe that even in here, if you're looking closely, it's there. You know more about trivia. But I would assume Ash is looking at it and realizes, oh, it's putting shit inside him or fucking.
There's a moment where they're like, something's gone down. It's breathing for him. They just
But
think the
Ash
thing's
says that, and I wonder if he knows.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They pop him back out, and then it's like, Dallas is like, we got to get it off. We got to kill him. I'll make the call. It's my call or whatever. Blah, blah.
I like they get this moment where they're like, "What do we do? Let's cut it off." And then they have this little line of dialogue where he's like, "Where do we start?" He goes, "Right here, like right at the
Below
knuckle.
the knuckle.
like right below the knuckle." Like they're just having this analytical decision of like, where does it make sense structurally to cut this
Yeah.
thing off so you can pull it off? It's cool.
Ash takes his little razor, cuts the knuckle. Psst, acid blood shoots out, falls down. starts burning
Molecular
through the floor.
acid.
Come on, dude. This is the coolest thing ever. I've totally forgot about this. It coming out and boiling through the
Yeah.
entire ship. I'm like,
Where
this is
Dallas
so
runs
sick.
out, it's burning through the.
gonna
It
put
could,
through the
it could
hull.
eat through the hull. They all run. They all start looking down there, trying to figure out where it's going. They're getting there. It's going down, going down, going down.
Were they alluding to like this sort of alien controlling the viscosity of the acid?
No,
Because they made. I got like a hint from them that like it stopped. It stopped like doing the burning now. It's like, whoa, I don't know. I got the vibe that
I think it
That
was
this
just
acid went through the
diluted enough
floors.
that it went through too far,
Okay,
and that's where
gotcha.
it would stop. Yeah, they've never just
Great moment where he takes Brett's pen, uses it, and then gives it back to Brett. And Brett
Brett's
just looks at it. Yeah, I love that. So yeah, they're at kind of a standstill here, right? Of course, they have this done. What are they going to do with it?
What a cool effect. That's a practical effect, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's cool.
And so the decision is to let it ride, right? They got to figure out what to do, but they got nothing they can do right now. So the decision is made to let that happen. Ripley then confronts Ash on, of course, the fact of like, hey, by the way, how's it going? Oh,
Love
it's going well.
this.
Yeah, like, and Ash completely trying not to engage in the conversation, but her eventually like, you fucked us over, right? Like, it doesn't seem great for a science officer to
Yeah.
not follow the
Not
scientific
follow
protocol.
quarantine protocol.
After this conversation, she confronts Dallas of like, how much do you know about him? Dallas is like, it is weird. You know, we were getting ready to, what was it, 2 days or something till the ship, and they replaced our science officer with this guy, but he's here and he's us, and that's where it's got to be, blah, blah, blah.
This is again where we get that line where she's like, why didn't you push back? He goes, Ripley, it's the corporation. Like, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
We do whatever the fuck they tell us to do.
I'm sure there's some superfluous stuff here that I'm going to miss, but this is a plot that moves at a pretty quick pace when you're recapping it, right?
You're doing great.
So the next big thing would be, of course, that
Everybody, round of applause for Greg. He's doing really good.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Good stuff.
The next big plot point here, outside of the confrontation we've had there, right, is of course, hey, to Dallas, who I think's back down talking to Mother, asking her a bunch of questions, and I was like, don't have enough information. Don't have enough information. Don't have enough information.
Andy Cortez.
You know what I was really kind of impressed by, because we've seen a lot of these older movies, and whenever there's any sort of motion graphics, it looks like the oldest technology
I'm pretty
possible.
sure they redid those.
This looks so redone.
I think they redid those.
Yeah, I could have sworn, because this does not look like something that was made back in the day.
Yeah, we'd have to look that up, and maybe Kevin can look at that. But I'm pretty sure it was just like the standard typing back in the day with the cool sound effects, and now it's got that motion blur.
Sorry, what is it?
Look up
Mother.
just
Like
Mother
UI
motion graphics
typing.
UI. Was it redone? Because as Mother's typing across the screen, it looks like something that's like very sleek.
Look like something that was made like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they redid that.
We get multiple calls. I'm going to put Dallas in talking to Mother both times. The first call, of course, is you should come up here, look at this, and what do they find? Kane with nothing on his face. Still asleep, but the face hugger has moved on.
Good
so
stuff.
Then, of course, they have the moment of, well, fuck, we got to find this
thing.
goddamn thing, right?
Let's get the whole group in here and bumble around a little bit.
So they have
It's just the three of them, all right?
Yeah, hey,
It's
where's
the-
the
here's
And they
shit?
leave the door open for so long.
They leave the door open. They go in with put the fucking suits on. Get in there. I was so annoyed at this
Like the
part.
fact that it has acid blood, it's like it probably has other shit. It also was cut open, so maybe it's gonna bleed more. And it's like it ended up being above them. Like that's just the worst scenario to be in.
Yeah, I love the scene because they're like cautious for a second, but they're kind of bumbling and they're not thinking clearly. And then it's at one point, all of us had the same thought: close the fucking door.
Yeah.
And then Ash goes, "Oh," shit, and walks over and closes the door. And then it's just this scene is like the scariest scene because they're looking like, is it up there? No, I looked up, and then it comes, and then you see the tail
That
pop
was
down
sweet.
first.
Well, what happens? She just trips on something, or something happens where Ripley
Dallas
scares
knocks
herself.
something over. It's
Yeah.
like, you fucking fucks, guys.
Yeah.
This is a great point too. Just as we're calling this out, to pull this over and put a quick stop on it. Everybody watched the movie Life with Ryan Reynolds. Did you watch this?
I
one?
remember that. Yeah.
I fucking sat on that forever until I watched it, and I did a Greg way about how much I watched it, but I loved it. But
Or
it's
he's
just such
buried
a
underground.
no. This is where they're in a space
one was called
station,
Buried.
and they find an alien, and they're like a little microscopic alien in their
Oh,
Mars stuff.
shit,
So
yeah.
fucking
little
good.
venomy kind of
So
alien
fucking
looking
Tim, where are you
thing.
going? Sit down for 2 seconds. We're about to get to a bit. You can't leave.
Yeah,
me.
he
we're,
needs-
we're too close to get away from the bit now, so we can't not
he
do
needs
the
to
bit.
do the bit with you. here,
I
too.
couldn't find anything on the Mother thing.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you,
Tim,
Chris.
I can make it fast. I'm sorry.
Okay.
They bumble around. They do the thing. As we said, they finally found it. For no reason, it really seems like the face hugger's tail finally drops on Ripley. She screams. It comes down. She throws it away. They come over. It's dead. Oh my God, this is the organism, right? This leads to, of course, Ash laying him out and poking around and being all gross with him, right?
It's so wet inside.
It's so wet and disgusting.
Oof, KY jelly.
However, the death of this face hugger, of course, leads us to our brand new segment for In Review. Andy, hit the song.
What is?
Just go. Just give me a
the
beat. Just go.
Perfect.
Just face huggers. Face hug them or face fuck them. This is a new segment In Review where we talk about face huggers and we say, I want to hug that face hugger because it was so good, or fuck that face hugger. It was so stupid.
Okay.
Is this a face hug them or a face fuck them, everybody?
Okay, so fuck him as in fuck off. Not
Yeah,
as
not
in,
fuck him in the
okay.
face. I'm
As in,
sorry.
as in,
No.
it's already inseminated someone else, so I could put my penis in it.
No, what?
That's what it
no,
is?
we're just, do we like it or
Oh,
not
okay.
like the face hugger in
I
Alien?
love the face
Love
hugger
it.
in
This
this.
is a face hug 'em for sure.
I mean, this thing.
one's
I think the
great.
face hugger is arguably as scary as the xenomorph itself. That thing is,
if not
it's
scary,
terrifying.
Yeah, like just like the thought of it. Like back
Look at
to
that.
what you can
Yeah.
go to the bathroom now if you
Okay,
want to.
cool, cool. Yeah.
Just need you to react to face fuck them. You know what I mean?
I
You're
did.
face
I did.
hug them though, right? Your team face hug them. Yeah, no. I think the alien, the xenomorph, obviously horrific. The second mouth, everything else, right? Terrifying. There, and this goes back to what you were talking about, what the chat was talking about, of
Yeah.
like the phallics it being very,
I mean, there's, like-
sexually charged, like the violation of the face hugger.
Yes.
The fact that it jumps on, shoves its dick down your throat, then leaves a baby inside you
Yes.
that's going to kill you.
Yes.
Like that. There's like
Against your will.
Right there, I did a bunch of Greg-isms to talk about something that is like such a violation, so terrifying and gross and disgusting, and like such a fucking boundary
and I
crosser.
specifically like that. In a movie like this, where and you can start peeling back layers, and maybe I'm reading too much into this, but a movie like this where it's a female heroine. Right, a female hero, a female protagonist. Ripley is the main character for the most part of this movie, even though it was an ensemble cast. The first person to get violated like this, being a man, makes it so much. There's the dynamic there that's worth exploring, and that I think really works for the movie.
Yeah, just super creepy, and I can't wait to talk about future iterations as we get into our segment here. Face hug 'em or face fuck 'em, but it seems like this is a universal hug 'em, right, Andy?
This is a universal hug 'em. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, you're so right with just the disgusting nature of it, and it being first off crashing through whatever the helmet, however it got through that helmet, is terrifying enough. The strength this thing must have had. Yeah,
it's to quote Tenacious D, right? It's a cock push up, right? It's just like pops so hard through the glass and it comes on in.
Push up.
I didn't think of that. No.
How many can you do? Just one.
3. I
Just
think,
one.
yeah.
I guess you can only do one. Tenacious D, what a great
So
band.
that's the end of the segment, Greg.
Yeah.
So hit us with the theme song one more time. Hold on. Hit us with the theme song one more
time.
Hold on. Fuck, it's not working.
It's fine. We'll have it next time. But it was just, remember, it was face huggers. Do we face fuck 'em? Face hug 'em. That's pretty much it. You got
Gotcha,
it.
okay.
Don't worry about it. We'll get there next time. We don't have to worry about it. Back to your plot recap. So now they have it. They have it laid out. They're investigating it. Again, this is Dallas fucks off again to go talk to Mother about whatever. It sounds like a fart. It sounds like
fart,
a baseline
little
farty fart. Well,
Now I have it.
okay.
Face fuck 'em. Face fuck 'em.
Face hug 'em. Face fuck 'em. Okay. Face huggers. What do we think?
That's what it is. It's supposed to be like. Hold on.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it.
Face fuck 'em.
Face hug 'em. Okay. They have him down. Dallas fucks off for a little bit. Nah, there's another call. You got to get up here. Okay, why? And he's like, it's best if you just see it. Maybe I'm confusing it. But then he does the other one where Dallas is he gets this call from the science officer and just goes, oh yeah, is it bad? It's like, it's interesting or whatever. And then he just sits there for a second and then he calls Ripley. He's like, meet me in the thing. And he actually sounds like there's immediate action needed for Ripley. But I feel like Ripley's going to beat him there. Like, you know what I mean? It's like me telling Tim, meet me in the conference room. And then I go get his coffee first. Like, it's a big thing. I don't know. But they get there and what do they find? Of course, Kane is up. Kane is awake. Kane is alive, right? He had a dream about suffocating, but that's about it. He doesn't remember everything, right? He's
Smothered.
Yeah, smothered. That was it. Thank you very much.
Terrifying.
And so great. Kane's alive. Fantastic. We got the thing. Oh, yeah. I guess I skipped it. Right. We already taken off at this point, didn't we? Where there was a check-in with Dallas and
10 months to
Ripley.
Earth.
Yeah.
They're back up there. Like it's going to be 10 months.
Yeah. But more importantly, not more importantly, I apologize. But just the conversation I was hung up on was
When they're in the hallway and she's stopping him from walking through the hallway.
There's a whole conversation about science offer, and he's like, "All right, well, let me know, or what's going on with Parker and Brett." And she's like, "Oh, they're almost done. How close? Like, we can fucking take off with that. Let's go." And so they force the ship up, and they get up there, and blah blah blah. 10 months back to Earth. They of course give all this information to Kane. He just wants to have some fucking grub before they put him back to sleep, because they're gonna go back to sleep and go back to Earth, and everything's gonna be hunky dory. They did the goddamn thing, right? So they all sit there and they start having their little food. The Ash is drinking milk. That's all his motherfucking drinks. You know what I mean?
We've seen.
Mm-hmm. And everybody's having a good time talking and being stupid, right? And then Kane starts choking on his grub. And he's like, what do you mean? And then Parker's like, what do you mean the food's not that bad, right? And they roll him over. And then, of course, don't let him choke on his tongue. This is an outdated thing about seizures, everybody. Don't worry about it. You're not going to choke on your tongue. But they think he's having a seizure. Yeah. I think it actually, more people get hurt by people trying to stop them from, I think you could, you're not supposed to put anything in a seizing person's mouth. Chat, let me know if that's also changed. But I remember that being a thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that
Parker,
anymore.
stop.
Yeah,
what is he
yeah.
doing? You're making the situation worse.
But it's a whole other thing. Anyways,
the first blood spurt.
Oh,
like,
man.
whoa.
Are they all kind of looking at it like,
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever seen this scene in its entirety. I've seen the chest burst, and then I've seen the Spaceballs, rendition. Or whatever,
hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
But
Hello, my ragtime
I had no idea there was just an initial pop of blood. That was
There it is.
crazy.
Thank you very
Was
much.
that John Hurt in Spaceballs as well? Was he the person that?
I think it
cameoed in
was.
that?
I think it
him,
was,
yeah.
right? Yeah. He might even say not again.
Mhm.
I think when it happens to him, right? That's a good reference. A good pull. I forgot about that part.
Well, we have to put Spaceballs in this now.
We do.
It's in the
do
universe.
We also have to go and watch Casper for Ghostbusters in review. But somebody doesn't want the content to be good.
Langley M. Neely says the scene's so good because none of the actors knew that the blood spurt was going to happen, so they were genuinely surprised. That's
shit.
cool.
And they also like let go for it. Like what the
What the fuck
just happened?
Yeah. This scene's scary, obviously. Seizure, scary, always. Chest bursting, scary. This guy, scary. The dick coming out, all that. But when he runs away,
It's the silliest
it's
thing
the best
ever.
thing ever, man.
It's not just
this
the-
form of him, my favorite so far. I don't need a whole song for it and all that stuff, but I just want to let everybody know the weird little alien, like that's in the mouth, doing his little run. Best thing so far.
When he it's silly. This comes off as sort of silly, and unfortunately, kind of it doesn't ruin the scene for me. But it's silly. He pops out, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And he goes, and then like kind of runs off. It's the silliest thing ever.
Very similar sound to
Mystique.
Mystique.
No, I'm on the Epilepsy Foundation FAQ, Myth and Facts. Myth, you should put a spoon, wallet, or another object in a person's mouth during a seizure. Fact, never put anything in a person's mouth during a seizure.
Period.
Doing so can cause injury to the teeth or gums. A person cannot swallow his or her own tongue during a seizure.
Wow.
Don't do it, everybody.
Don't do it.
Alien runs off, and everybody's like, what the fuck did we just see, dude? Come on. Kane's dead, and he's not even Kane from wrestling. And now this thing just shot off, and it was disgusting. And if I'm fucking Ripley, I'm like, I fucking told you people. You know what I mean? I fucking told you people not to do this. However, as we've stated before, everybody's pretty cool. Everybody's pretty chill about the whole thing. You know, it sucks,
Super
right?
chill.
They fire Kane's body off into space.
Yeah, any last words? Nah, no
Yeah, I know,
last
right?
words.
Yeah.
Leave him. Like literally, when that happened, I was like joking to Jim. They're just gonna dump him in space now, and they just dump him in space.
I'm really.
It's an interesting thing. It's very much like the differences between IGN and Kind of Funny. Kind of Funny, we're all friends here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we love each other.
we love each other. We're a family, right?
Right.
Over there, Rebecca Valentine bites the big one, parachuting around to space, never saying a goddamn word. He didn't even know her. Probably doesn't even know her last name.
No idea.
That was a rare good deadpan from all of us. Talking about the death of one of our friends. Then one of our other friends doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just imagining Pear just like just shoving her out of that third floor window that we used to work in. We can't get into space. You know?
Move on.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that Ash ends up being Traitorous Robot, because when he tells Parker not to attack it,
Yeah.
I was like, this fucker, man, quit being an like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So now I'm so happy that we know why, obviously, and
Yeah.
it makes a lot
Of
more
course,
sense
spoilers, of course, Ripley eventually goes down there and gets to see the order, and the order, of course, is fuck all your other directives, get the organism, get us
At
the
all
organism.
costs.
Yeah.
And then it says crew expendable.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
you didn't have to put that there.
Dope, though. He's
Sick.
dope that he did that.
She
you
gets
know what I mean?
pissed.
Super pissed. Before all that, though, there's a ship-wide search for this little guy. You know what I mean? What are we gonna do with this snake hybrid guy? We gotta find him. He's got metal teeth. That's fucking crazy.
It is
Yeah,
really
is it
crazy.
metal teeth?
I think they're just shiny.
I
think
hate
they're
it.
just kind of shiny-ish.
That song.
Yeah. Anyways, though, so they break into teams, right? We send Brett, Parker, and Ripley. That's the
Yeah.
first team, right? Yeah, of course. And they've got the net, and then they've got the little gun
tracking
thing.
device.
Yeah. Which is the tracking device.
They have a track. They have
It's a little wishy-washy on the science for me on that one. I'm just like, no,
Yeah.
it's a molecular watch, and you put your hand in front. I'm like, all right, well, what about like just you move it by a door? Oh, whatever.
If there's like
It's
a
an
chain-
early motion tracker. We know motion trackers are a thing later. So.
but it's
We did, and they're much better.
yeah, that's the thing I was surprised by. I thought I was like, oh, here's a moment where we see the thing that I saw Nick using in Alien Isolation, and it looks nothing like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, you know,
Stick around.
Stick around.
Stick around.
There's
Strap in.
explanations.
I also just I know that it's fine, but it's just being a net. I thought was funny.
Well, the
Just
net that's
walking around
the
with a
net's
net.
big.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you gonna do with it?
What?
The cat could squeeze through that fucking
If
thing.
Ripley like, takes it to the Kane's body and is like, it's gonna get through, guys.
Yeah,
It's gonna get
yeah.
through.
But I do love that they're cognizant of the fact that they can't stab this fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
They can't
Yeah.
shoot it, they can't stab it, so they gotta light it on fire, or they gotta catch it and suck it
Blow
up
it
the
out the
airlock, or else
airlock,
it could destroy them all.
So yeah, they go through with their little tracking device, a little motion detector, trying to find him, trying to do their things. Eventually, they think they got him. It's over there in the locker. Big reveal. It's fucking Jonesy. Jonesy, you piece of
Scariest
shit.
thing.
It's the Kramer clap as
Little
he walks
tabby
in.
They catch Jonesy, but Brett lets him go. Obviously, Parker.
Well,
and
they're about to
Ripley.
shoot him, and he goes, they're like, "Why did you let him go?" He goes, "It's the cat. It's the cat. It's the cat, guys. They're on such high tension that they just saw something run and they thought it was the alien."
Yeah.
And Brett's the only one that's like, "God, it's the fucking cat. Like, don't kill the cat."
So then they're like, "You idiot! Now
Yeah,
if we
you
get
gotta go
another
get him.
fucking molecular
Rita, it might
spike
be
on it,
him.
it could be him." Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got to go get him. So Brett walks all by himself through just the
Of course. What are we
the
doing?
Why would you
creepiest
stick
ship
together?
thing of all time.
I think this might be the best choice that they possibly made in this, because I have no fucking idea what this thing is that he goes into, what this room is. You
For
imagine?
reals, what is it?
I have to imagine this-
Equipment storage.
but it's like
why is it
there's
raining?
condensation.
Dude, well, that's
the
my
moisture.
That's a difference. I said this to Jen too, where I'm like, nothing like sitting under the random condensation of a spaceship. You know what I mean? That water's not clean.
That's gotta smell terrible.
Yeah,
Well, there's a lot of rust in there too, so you have to imagine it's rusty. But
Tetanus,
I like that they don't call attention to it, make reference to, oh, he's in the condensation room. Or what? He just goes into this room and it's creepy as shit, and part of it's just leaking.
It's a chain room, says Madeline Stanley.
And there's chains.
And there's change. Like
So
the
many
sound design
chains.
here, so good. I loved it, and also like this is one of those weird watching the movie more than once type things, but knowing what the aliens are eventually going to look like. We haven't seen it yet in the movie, but
He
I
does
know
pick
what
up
it
the
looks
little
like.
skin here.
Yeah,
Similar to
shed
me.
the skin. Honestly, Greg, I had a thought of like, is this why, Greg?
Yeah,
No,
that's
it
exactly
wasn't
why.
there yet. It
That's
wasn't there
exactly
yet.
why.
It wasn't there yet. It wasn't in my mind yet.
Well, I know what the big alien looks like, and the shadows that we see from the chains, kind of like swinging back and forth on the walls, kind of looks like the alien. And I'm like, oh, this is so freaking cool. So it's a nice little foreshadowing, but
But the
without
big alien
knowing
is
that.
there, right?
What's up?
You can see it here, yeah.
He is there in that scene.
Oh, I didn't realize. I never
No,
caught
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Wait,
but like,
I
we
didn't know
hadn't
that.
seen it yet.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't
It just
know
blends
that.
in with the
Right?
environment.
Yeah.
That's
What
cool.
the
I gotta go back
fuck?
and watch
That's
that. That's rad.
freaky.
So,
That's
anyways,
cool.
yeah, Brett goes around, then Jonesy's on a tank. Jonesy jumps down. Jonesy runs over.
Oh, he's
the-
all over the goddamn place.
Finally, he gets up to close to get Jonesy, and then we see it from our perspective, from Jonesy's perspective. The alien dropped down behind Brett. Jonesy hisses. Brett turns around. Brett gets iced.
But even before that, we get him walking. Jones runs through the door. And we get the tracking shot where like there's just like a small opening in the door, and it's just like as an audience member, we're with him, not knowing what's behind it. Fucking so cool. Hearing the chains and like the water dropping and all that stuff. Powerful shit.
This is where Parker sees Brett get pulled up.
Oh, I
right?
guess that is true. Sorry, I misspoke because I maybe I took
It's
my
still
attention
far
off.
away, but
He
he's
does
bigger
see
than a
him
little
get
guy.
pulled up. That's right. So that there is a reason why he had seen him. That's right.
Then we jump to everyone circled up getting this information. Dallas, of course, is like, okay, cool. He pulled him up into the air ducts. He's using the air ducts.
Do we get the mouths in this?
The two mouths?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
You
yeah,
like
get that. It's like
stabs,
the
it doesn't
first time we
stab.
see it.
yeah.
Like the iconic fucking grill, and the thing comes out. You know.
Sick. Yeah.
See, like for whatever reason, when I watched it though, Nick, I don't recall seeing Parker see him get killed.
I don't recall that either.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong.
I don't
'Cause you
recall
guys
it
thought
either.
it. But there was a moment. The next scene, he goes, "That thing was big,"
Well,
and
yeah.
I don't remember him seeing Parker get pulled up.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
Let's pull it back.
I don't recall
I think
him doing that.
I think it's. Oh, jeez.
There might have been. I could have swore I didn't see it last night.
Thank God I
but
was still paying for Peacock, by the way.
I could be wrong.
I forgot I had that.
I mean, they're not making
Open up
it.
the
This is
app, I've
awesome. So what are you gonna do? You know?
been paying for it since I think the Olympics.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You know,
We
I've
watch
had a
shows.
show on there for a lot longer than that.
Raiders.
Damn.
I don't have that subscription. It's a different one. I pay
No,
for a
it's
different
it's right.
one.
Look at the tab. WWE's right there.
Yeah, it's right there, Andy.
Yeah, you can get it anytime you want to. They're still good. They don't expire. You can go watch them
Ah,
anytime you want to.
It's
Almost.
using the air shafts to get around.
Rocket Money
What a
canceled
line.
it. Yeah.
What a dope ass line.
Also,
Oh,
why,
okay,
why are we
okay.
making air shafts this big? We haven't learned.
And I
These
mean,
air
this is the
shafts are
first time, right?
huge in this thing.
Huge.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
What?
No, no, no,
Hey,
it's
have you
right
seen
here.
the air shafts in any other building? They're like this big.
So I know that this is part of the whole thing. They're aliens and stuff, and there's future movies, so maybe they explain it. But like, I am very interested in how quickly little guy turns into
Gross.
big guy.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know?
Insane growth.
Yeah.
It's
So
one
here
of those.
we're watching it,
Yeah,
right? There's
Alec,
the double
makes
mouth.
sense.
God,
Yeah, and
that's
here we
so
go.
cool.
Oh, you got me punched, right?
I love that
Jonesy
shot of
sees
Jonesy
everything.
with
then
the
he,
the
yeah,
light on
okay,
the
so I
eyes.
see. So we see as an audience the xenomorph.
Yeah, and
pull
it
him
cuts
up,
right here.
and then we.
So that's what I'm saying.
Then Parker says he saw it.
He saw it, but maybe we'll
Parker's
just take his
full of
word
shit,
for it.
man.
That's what I'm
Maybe,
saying.
but again, maybe he ran around the corner right as they cut. You know.
Yeah, maybe.
You know how the alien was hidden in that one scene? He was in the reflection.
Parker's hanging on the wall, hidden too.
He was in the reflection of Jonesy's eye.
Or Jonesy reports back.
Oh,
We
yeah.
don't know if cats can talk in this universe.
I like the shot of Jonesy, by the way, with the light on it, and you see similar shots like that in Blade Runner, which was another Ridley Scott film, like the light kind of coming off of their eyes and making them look kind of weird.
So cool.
Cool.
Anyways, we then have, like I said, circled up. He's using the air shafts. All right, we're gonna get him there. The plan is to systematically shut down the air shafts, corner him in the one room in the airlock, blow the airlock. We don't have to worry about this little spud no more. Great plan, everybody. We need people to go up in the air ducts and do all this different stuff. We got flamethrowers. This will be fun.
So I love it because he goes, "Do we have any weapons?" And he's like, "I think they have some line where he's like, can you make a
Yeah. Can you make
sort of
8?
makeshift?"
It was like a
thing?"
lot too. Can you
And he's
make
like, "Yeah, no problem." So he like makes this thing. It's cool.
Yeah.
And
Very
the
cool.
comfort at which they walk around with these flamethrowers,
The lit flame on the side of
I
it.
could never do it.
It's when
Dope as
Dallas
hell.
is crawling through this
Dude.
claustrophobic air vent, and the flame is just hitting like on the side of it, and I'm like, that's gonna light you on fire, bro.
it's gonna be
Also,
fine.
let's talk for a second. Is there anyone in this movie that's not gonna eventually, like maybe a year later, die from fucking lung cancer? They're all smoking so many cigarettes.
That's how it was, man. That's how we
was
did it
cool.
back
Tom
then.
Skerritt's teeth were this like literally the shade of Andy's crew neck right now.
But
They're
if
just
I
so yellow.
if I lived in space, I would definitely start smoking. You know,
Okay.
be a bounty
It
hunter.
reminds me of, do you remember Thank You for Smoking? When he's trying to get a cigarette inserted into the movie, and Stanley, I think it was Stanley Tucci, was like, oh no, it was Rob Lowe is talking about how he's like, we'll sell it to Marlboro, and Aaron Eckhart goes, isn't it not a good idea to light a flame inside of an highly oxygenated space station? He goes, we'll write a line that just writes it out. We got the technology that can do that.
The future. Anyways, Dallas, Captain, decides to go out with his flamethrower and do all this. And he's
Well,
closing
Ripley
up.
says, I'll go first, right? And Dallas is
Yeah.
like, no, I'll go.
Yeah. He's a good captain. You know what I mean? Similar to me.
Would you go?
Opposite of Tim. I would do everything for you guys. You
Makes
know
more
what I mean?
sense for me and Andy.
Tim
though,
would be
because
the
we're kinda
android
smaller.
sending us out there to die.
I like Dallas dying here. I think that was like a very good, the subverting expectations of the team and all that stuff. Him being the leader,
hero,
the hero-looking guy, like man, 1979. What up?
So yeah, he walks through with the thing. They've got the Lambert. This is where Lambert turns the corner, I think, to Annoying Town. She's got the little tracking device. She can see it. Oh, he's coming right at you. And then of
I
course he
think
just
she's
goes
so-
quiet.
I wonder, and I've never seen I don't know that I've ever watched the 3-hour cut if it even exists, but I wonder if there was more to their relationship, because this is the cracking point where I started feeling like she liked him or they had a relationship, and she was freaking out because he was about to die, and this kind of like sets her off.
Well, again, it's Captain. You know what I mean? He's the leader.
Well,
Again,
we wouldn't care so
if
much
I
if
die
you-
in the air vent, Mike's gonna lose it. Mike's not.
Oh,
Gonna be able to hold
Michael,
it
yeah, Michael never come back.
together. And so yeah, there's this whole like, where is it? What is it going on? And the dots on top of you. You should see it. I don't see anything. Blah, blah, blah. And then finally
Which is-
which again, is still scary and off-putting, but it's just funny of like in all the things we've seen and all these aliens that goes, I'm here and I got him.
Very,
I think because
It's not the scene, but
I think because when we
Close enough.
like
close enough.
the Predator is clearly dude in a suit,
Mhm.
but it has those proportions. It has bipedal
Yeah.
without like. But
He
the
feels
a-
like a dude.
but-
Period.
But,
yeah.
but the
I can get a
alien
beer
in
with the
this
Predator.
yeah, the alien in this circumstance just looks like a dude with the alien head on with like normal human arms.
Anytime
And-
that it's like he looks like an alien majority of the time.
Yeah.
But there's a couple times you're a dude in a suit.
Yeah.
They were very cognizant of that as well. That's why I think the total screen time for the alien in this movie was like 3 minutes.
Makes
Because he
sense.
knew, he was like, and everything for the most part is done in close-ups. This is one of those unfortunate like signs of times of the editing where if they had shaved off like 4 frames of this, it would have been terrifying. But it's just that he goes like this and holds for just 1 second too long that it kind of ruins the suspense. But yeah, that is the actor that played it.
This is when they go over there. They find the flamethrower. There's no blood, right?
Yeah, because he's
yeah,
taken, and of course, not to get into director's cut territory, but originally they didn't have the concept of how the alien reproduced and how the eggs were made, and so originally there is a cut where they find Tom Skerritt and he's like cocooned and becoming an egg.
Oh.
Like I think that was I think the original concept was that the alien itself could like take you and then molecularly like reform you into the egg, and then you'd create a face hugger, and then
interesting.
that, of course, later would evolve into something
like
else.
Very interesting. Okay. However, they decide. Oh, there had been a conversation, by the way, or before then. This will be important. Of we should get the emergency shuttles and just get the fuck out of here. And the idea was we're in the middle of nowhere. No one's gonna find us, kind of thing. Like we're.
Well, she says the shuttle can't sustain 3 people.
Right,
I think it
right,
only
right,
has
right.
1 cryopod.
Oh, there you go. Is this,
And,
is the,
yeah,
is
so there it is right there. They find him, and that's sort of like him morphing into
Very
something
tiny, yeah.
else. And then I think they never went back to that because James Cameron had a different idea for the second movie.
Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry. Yeah, they had too many people they thought
Right.
alive that would for the
And she says, at the end you have to put it in contextually. She's like, we have 18 weeks to like the frontier, which is like the edge of where known space is. So 3 of them for 18 weeks, it wouldn't be sustainable.
Yeah. So they, agree that they have to keep fighting or whatever. This is where it pulls up. We go on. We're doing a little bit. We're trying to figure it out. We're gonna break into groups or whatever. This is where Ripley's now the lead officer of the ship. She goes to talk to Mother, gets the facts, finds out the order, comes back to confront Ash on it. Ash goes and just fucking crazy, and he's doing fucking
Malfunctions,
robot shit or whatever. You know what I mean? And he's fighting. And then he just gives the worst nipple twister of all time to Parker. He's like grabs him by just not even by the nip,
Well,
right?
no,
Just
dude.
all
Grabs
but
the whole big, yeah.
you fucking-
Can you, but before that, can you imagine what was going through the writer's brain where he's like, you're going to kill Ripley by rolling up a fucking magazine and shoving it down her
Yeah,
throat?
what the fuck's wrong with
It's
you?
well, he malfunctions, like basically. You can see him literally
saying the
blow a
writer.
screw loose. But dude, he's like, and then shoving it, and she wakes up and like starts choking on it, and again talking about like the phallic and
Yeah,
like the,
Was
the
he planning
assaulting
on, like,
imagery. I
jamming
don't
that shit?
know,
Damn.
but then the sort of like, he's like fuck, he's like Jesus Christ, and then what just knocks his fucking head
Legitimate surprise to
sideways.
me. I had no idea, and I feel like I should have known because I've seen some stuff that spoils future movies. But it was when he picked her up and like launched her. I was like, Ian Holm, he's kind of a small guy. I don't think,
Yeah.
come on, like that's a little bit unrealistic. And then I was like, oh, this is cool as shit,
So
dude.
cool.
Even before the head gets knocked off, I was like, oh my god, it's like Alien Isolation. Those dudes are really strong.
Different,
The one thing
different
I-
corporation though.
The one thing
Oh,
I
not Wayland.
Yeah, that's why they didn't look like humans. They were a different corporation. in that.
one of the things I missed there is why the malfunction.
They don't explain it
a
in
little
this
sweaty.
movie.
Okay.
They don't
Little
explain it in
sweaty.
this movie, but
Okay, cool. Just wondering if I missed
Weird,
him
right?
getting knocked on the head or something.
it
or whatever.
sort of gets retconned a little bit later.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll worry about that later. Then. For now, though, they beat the shit out of this fucking robot and knock his fucking block off, right? But then, like, shit, we actually need information from him, which I actually am blanking on what the information they needed from him.
Well, they
was.
How
kind
to
of
kill
woke him
it.
They
up,
want to know what the fuck's going on.
and then they got mad at him, and they're just like, "Shut up the fuck up!" And I'm like, "Why would you make that decision?"
They
Like,
want to know how to kill
Oh,
it.
that was right. He might know how to hurt the alien.
Yeah,
he might know how to kill the
right.
alien. Right. And I've already missed it, but they describe it as the perfect organism. Yeah,
She's
it's
like,
cool.
you admire this thing, and he was like, yeah, he's the perfect. Like, I love that he has frosting on his face though.
Oh yeah, and him kind of spitting out of his mouth,
Spitting a little bit out.
Yeah,
Well, it's
okay.
that horrible cut, right? Again, sign of the times, where they've clearly got the
Clearly
prosthetic,
dude's head on
and
the
it's this,
table.
and then it cuts to an off. Like they needed to cut away from it, or maybe they do a little cutaway, but then it cuts to a different angle of it, and it's clearly him.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's just
it's
cool,
such
though.
good movie magic. I love that shit.
yeah.
I love all the lines here though of the like, Ash, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. What is your special order? Like such great stuff. But last word. I can't lie to you about your chances. You have my sympathy.
sympathies.
Yeah.
He
It's
smiles
the
like a little
coldest
shit.
line ever freaking said.
And then-
but like it makes me question like how much does he know? Does he know these aliens?
That is the
like,
question.
Because earlier we got this whole like, oh, we got to save it. Like this is the most event. Like, does he know that already, or is this like new stuff? Like,
Let's
is he
wait
just
and see.
assuming they're fucked? I don't
exciting.
know. I'm excited.
Let's wait and see. Of course, Parker says he's had enough of that and then burns them.
Cool.
Very cool. Now they're in their final thing here, right, where they got to get this done. They're going to break into 2 things.
No,
Rip-
she's like, we're gonna blow up the ship.
yeah, Ripley.
And then we're gonna
exactly.
take our chances in the pod.
Yes,
Basically,
exactly.
we're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. They say that, then they break into the 2 things where Ripley's going to go to the HQ, the bridge, set off the self-destruct, and I don't know what the other 2 are doing. but
Parker and Lambert have to go get the fuel cells for
that's what it
something
is.
or other for
Yeah,
the cryo
there's
chamber or
some-
something like
There's
that.
something they have to go get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And man, are they just subtle as a fucking as a
Jesus
gentle breeze,
Christ.
throwing these bing. I'm like, Lambert, stop
Stop it,
Parker,
Lambert.
stop throwing the thing.
LVP,
Shut the
man.
fuck up.
They know where the alien knows.
There was a point where I thought, the they're a distraction for Ripley.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they need her to go do the thing, so they're like, it was way too much.
Speaking of way too much, but in a cool way, I think, is all the steps to starting the self-destruct thing.
Yeah.
She's pulling out fucking things that look like the Back to the
Beep,
Future
bop,
plutonium.
boop, bop,
She's
beep,
doing
bop,
this.
bop,
She's
yeah.
flipping switches and shit, and finally it counts down right. And it's got a 10-minute countdown, and once you get to 5 minutes, it'll be irreversible or whatever.
Yeah.
It's Metroid.
I also
Did
want
not like.
Yeah.
Lambert reacting to seeing the alien.
She just shuts down.
She kind of she does like a double take at it.
And
Like
he's like, get out of the way. She's like, I can't. I'm like, well, you're both dying then.
Yeah, like,
Man,
what
and
the
then we
fuck?
get the best bit of sound. How this movie didn't win like best sound design is beyond me. Obviously, we have the issues with the screeching and shit. But we have a moment where it cuts and Ripley's running toward them, and you hear Lambert's screams, like as they're having this conversation, and they're cutting back and forth with it. But the last thing you hear is her like screaming and getting gutted.
Yeah.
Over the speakers. It's fucking terrifying.
God, yeah, everything about the blocking of this I thought was very stupid, and her acting and him like, get out of the way, like just fucking blast. At a certain point, you got to do it, or else you're gonna die.
I start blasting.
But then I love the weird like scorpion tail up the gooch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because it's that cut to her screaming, and like you can kind of add what happened to her.
cooter, yeah.
The booch.
yeah, because I needed her doing the work. You see the shadow turn and just like a crazy yell, but she kind of does like a.
Ooh.
It's
Oh,
like,
see, I disagree. I love because she kind of looks at it and then she's so scared that she just slinks back and just is like, and the thing's just like as the shadow comes.
maybe
above
I don't
her.
mind. Maybe I don't even mind that. Just the double take. Is
I
what
don't
kinda
know.
Didn't love it.
Ripley runs in on all this, and she has Jonesy, right? And then this happens. She gets spooked and drops Jonesy. I believe Jonesy, I'm a little bit loose on. Alien sees Jonesy and is like, "Yo, what up, cat?" And then the little mouth comes out and goes, "Meow." You know.
Didn't they get to talk to each other, Greg? The cat and the alien.
Probably.
Yeah.
Two perfect predators.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you'll.
Ripley runs back to the bridge now to shut down the self-destruct. Right? She is not. She's doing it. And she's pushing the plutonium back in, and she throws the switches, and then like 4:59, all of it's done. And Mother's like, "Yo, well, you're fucked. It's still gonna blow up. Too bad."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Fuck. Okay, cool."
So yeah,
She goes, "Fuck you, mother."
Yeah.
Screw you, mother.
you bitch. I guess I was just kind of confused as to why she tried reversing it.
Because when
No, it's
she came around the
one-on-one.
corner, and also shout out to all the steady cam or like handy cam work on this, which Ridley Scott did himself, which is cool.
all of
It's a
the
first
shots.
person looking shot.
It's very, very
Is this
cool.
the game?
Fucking rad.
All of the shots here were amazing.
But she comes around the corner, and the hole that goes to the ship, the alien's there. So she goes, "Shit, I can't get on the ship." Puts the cat down, runs back to try to shut it off, and then can't, and then goes, "Well, I have no choice. I have to now go back to the ship. I have 1 minute to get on that ship." And when she comes back, of course, it's gone because, of course, the alien, being a very smart, she's not smart in this, sees that the cat. It kind of looks at the cat as like, this cat's in a holder, and then realizes, oh, she's trying to get off the ship. I should
missed that, by
hitch
the
a
way.
ride.
yeah,
I like that.
I wouldn't
like
put that together. Either.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the blocking's weird because, of course, in this specific instance, there were lights strobing every 5 seconds at you,
Yeah.
not even like every second, like bah, 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 bah. So she comes around and looks, and it's blocking. I think it's blocking her entry into the ship.
I didn't see that, but whenever the strobes weren't going nuts, and it's a lot of smoke with the flamethrower, and it's just some of the best shots you've ever seen in
Cool
movies, dude. It looks
stuff,
amazing.
man. That's
this
cinema.
And apparently, there's another little small piece of trivia that on like day 1 or 2 shooting with the cat, Ripley, Sigourney Weaver broke out in hives and was like, "Shit, I'm like allergic to cats." I didn't realize that, and it turns out it was the glycerine that they were putting on all the actors' faces to get the sweat. It was giving her hives, so they had to switch that over to something else. But she
Good
is,
news for her, she's not allergic to cats.
yeah, you can have a cat.
She got 15 right afterwards. So anyways, they can't shut it down, runs back to the little pod, alien's not there, climbs on the pod, shuts the doors, gets out of there, breaks away, hooray, we're free, everything's gonna be chill, there's this big explosion.
So cool. Also, it never occurred to me until this watch that the Nostromo, there's 3 ships in this. There's the big thing that's holding what they mined. Then there's the Nostromo, which is technically a towing vessel. It's not even like a real ship. It's like a towing vessel. And then there's a little baby ship that comes out underneath it.
Yeah. And we got one explosion to represent each one of them. Why was there so many freaking explosions?
I don't know, man. It was the best they could do, Tim.
Some of them were cool. Some
There's
of them were
79.
cool.
Dude. Yeah.
Everything's chill, man, right? We did it. Ripley survived. She's super stoked or whatever. She doesn't record her message.
The message is later.
So then, yeah, she's like, cool. Now I'm going to strip down to my 70s underwear and 70s tank top, and I'm going to get into my little space vessel.
It's not that it doesn't make sense because look, we all go home. We're done. We're ready to go to sleep. What do? She's
Fuck
going to
yeah.
sleep for
Rub
18
one
weeks
out.
or whatever. You take your pants off. You want to be
Crank one.
comfortable when you go to bed. It's just that the underwear, that specific type of underwear,
just the
are
shape of
so
it, like-
egregious.
But it's not sexy. It's just a weird triangle that
Yeah,
doesn't
no, I
seem
don't think
like
this is a sexualization thing.
Again, I
As much
think
as
that
like
was
a
just
weird
the
style of
underwear
underwear,
of
but
the
it's what
time.
it was. Yeah, yeah.
I
I
just
legit
don't
think that
believe
was 70s underwear.
But it doesn't cover anything. Like it
covers-
it covers the wrong things. Like it covers like a little triangle of the butt, but not like the thong part. It's
Yeah.
like not letting the cheeks
You
breathe.
just had to account for the butthole back then. Too.
Yeah.
Really, the
They were
only thing that
using
would get
bidets.
you, the thing that would get you like banned on NBC was if you showed 2-hole.
Hmm.
1-hole's fine.
yeah. Bush is definitely
Bush
fine.
is fine. Well, Bush, I think there are spots where you can actually see that. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's creeping around there. Yeah.
I was
Oh, yeah.
very confused with what the aliens doing up in
Sleeping.
I
Well,
was confused too, Andy.
I think he.
Are you
I-
injured?
Yeah.
What?
He's
Are you
sleeping. He's
tired?
tired.
Are you serious?
No, he's not.
I'm dead serious. I think the alien is
Shut
sleeping.
the fuck up. No, he's just a little sleepy.
Have you ever he sleeps like Ben, my 3-year-old sleeps, where there's all this movement, and because when she runs and hides in the thing, the alien isn't cognizant that she's there. He's like there, fine. It's not till she has to hit the thing and the smoke blows out that the alien's like, what the fuck is happening? And rolls out like, what the fuck's going on?
Well, it reaches out for at one point, right? When she's running, there goes.
No, it does reach out, but it reaches out in the same way I go.
To me,
For me, in the same way you're thinking the thing looks at the cat and knows that's what's going on.
Yeah, maybe
I
it's
think
asleep.
this thing is like I'm settling down to hibernate or whatever his sleep cycle is, and it is just a happenstance that he stretches out there.
Maybe.
because why?
Because
Would he have gotten
we're
home?
right there at the scene. Like you can watch how long it stretches out here, and then we have so much time where Ripley's just being quiet. She just backs off. She gets in the thing. She does the thing. She does all the steps. She holds back her scream there. Alien. I know we're talking about like a bunch of. This is, I guess, theater of the mind, unless there's some trivia you know about this.
Yeah, then I know.
But, like,
I've never had an explanation.
If the alien is awake for all this, like,
This makes me like the movie.
I also in my
bit
brain,
less.
I always just read it as like it had curled into this specific spot that was hard to get into, so it could hide, and then realized that it doesn't. It's 1v1.
I was
but
It's like-
look
confused.
at it,
like
it's
me
just
and Andy
nuzzling
versus-
the pillow.
I was so confused.
I was very confused
I was
at the end.
confused, but there was enough like smoke and like hot and cold and things like that. I'm like, maybe one of those things is affecting it.
I just always sort of read it as the alien was
See,
like,
it
I'm not
pulls it-
worried. I'm gonna kill her.
Pulls its arm back in because it rolled it out of bed and it's like, oh, that's not where my arm goes.
But like he saw her as she walked away and went into this room.
But are the alien's eyes really open at that point?
Because this whole time, this is shot as if the alien was injured severely throughout all of these battles and is like, I'm really weak and I can't really do much right now. And that, like, the fact, there's no way it's sleepy. That makes me like
No way
it
it's
so much less.
sleepy.
I don't know.
like
I
it.
don't have an answer for you.
Milo Davis, who's been on
On point.
on point for everything they've said, because I think they're a super fan too, goes, it wasn't looking for Ripley at the end. It's like waking a bear from hibernation.
But
But
okay,
not
like,
much time
sure.
went by.
Yeah, it's like
hey, I'm not arguing with you guys. I'm just saying I would
literally 1 minute.
I would bet the
Yeah.
fucking house that this thing is asleep.
But
or
it's just
whatever.
like that's such a stupid decision then because like the cat and like the cat had to go there because the fires and stuff like you add all that up with immediately knowing that there's still a human here because he knows that Ripley's there. He just faced off against her. She's still alive. I'm gonna take a little nappy nap. Like what?
Now Milo says again, it's not injured, but it was dying like a bug.
What?
Jesus fuck, man.
That's new information. That's,
All right.
I didn't get any of that. I didn't get any of that.
My headcanon, Tim, is that
Again,
Yeah,
like, I'm
like-
just saying, like we've been talking, however long we've been
there's
talking
a
right
Reddit
now,
thread
what,
about it.
a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and like it still hasn't exited to come after her.
my headcanon is that it's like when a fucking cat gets stuck in a little jar and it's like, oh, I'm
Milo
stuck in
Davis
here
says
now,
it didn't know. It didn't know that she was there.
But I mean, like the scene with the chains, like he's up there for multiple minutes waiting for the right moment to attack. Like that whole scene to me, I thought was like this again, right?
I just imagine the alien thinking that there are air vents in this place and being stuck in. He's like, oh no, I
this is an
fucked up. Yeah. It's like,
Okay.
I saw a video real quick. I saw a video recently of an owner getting home and they had like a security camera inside their
Yeah.
house. And they got home after several hours of work and their cat was stuck in the blinds.
Oh, yeah, I
and
saw
had
that
like
too.
stopped like trying to
Right.
because they were just stuck. And
Yeah.
to me, this is the alien.
So a quick search.
This
There's
is my life now.
two I guess conflicting theories on this. One says that
Back asleep.
O'Bannon said that it was in fact like it had eaten,
Tuckered
and so
out.
it was kind of started going into hibernation. And then Ridley apparently came up with the concept that the alien's life cycle is like it's nearing its end of its life cycle because it's so the cycle itself is so fast. And obviously we'd go into
That's why he got big
not
so
knowing
fast.
that, but it got big, and then it starts to it's actually dying in this scene.
No, I wasn't even talking about that because it just immediately snapped for me that like you said Ridley and Ripley, but it's Ridley because of Ridley Scott
Yeah.
No,
in Metroid.
no, because
No,
Ridley Scott didn't
what?
work on this film.
Ridley Scott directed this one.
Yeah,
I apologize. I'm confused with the other. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. Maybe.
I thought you were doing like play on words. Ridley
I
and
was,
Ripley. Oh,
which I
for me, I'm like
it could be
Ridley
both.
Scott.
It could be, I mean, I'm sure it's all connected, right?
Yeah. Scott.
Anyways,
Scott.
then she hits this button and wakes it up. Like it's asleep, guys. I'm sorry to break.
Well,
it to
she's
you.
trying to. Yeah.
I'm sorry you guys
Yeah.
thought this thing was
Makes sense.
was smart. It's
I
a
never
baby. It
thought
was
about
born
that.
yesterday, as the chat pointed out.
I mean, it was smart enough to know that like, oh, the cat.
This
you're
does
going
not
through
add up with the logic of this movie at all. I'm not denying that it's sleeping. That's
Thank
stupid.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
I just
also
always-
thought you want to know my cinema sin here, if I will? It's her singing the song.
Yeah, dude.
Where I was like, in a modern
stars.
movie right now, we would have gotten at least 3 times. It would have been too much, but at least in the intro, you would have gotten her. I thank my lucky star. You know what I mean? Like set up this song, but I don't know what it is.
Really, to me, this is the most haunting thing she does in this whole thing because she's so scared that she has to sing to herself.
But I would have
Because
loved,
this thing is fucking waking up behind her.
especially us knowing through video game that she has a kid.
Yeah.
I would have loved a flashback at some point of her singing
Yeah.
to her kid in the crib or whatever, and that's what she's doing in this
or
moment.
just singing it once
Yeah.
when she's nervous
Sure.
to like shut down the bomb or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
Oh man, I love her performance. in
Anyway,
this scene.
he wakes up because he is asleep. He's all pissed off by the smoke or whatever, right?
Enough! Stop!
She blows
I will kill you.
She opens the door as it gets really, really close. She waits, blows the door. I would have blown it a lot sooner. I blow it a lot sooner every night. He catches himself where he gets sucked out. She shoots him with the little grappling hook. Then she drops the gun. The gun goes. The door closes. He
Get off
hangs.
my plane,
He starts crawling back
motherfucker.
up, and then he's very smart, just like it. Well, that's a spoiler for the movie Life. He tries to climb up into the. Go watch Life, everybody. Great film.
This motherfucker just loves air vents. You know what I mean? He sees something that
Yep.
looks
Yeah.
like an air vent.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm going in that
yeah.
shit.
And she fucking nails it and blows his ass out, right?
Cool effect here too, where it's like light and water. Like whatever the fuel is coming out of they put like moisture in it. So you
Yeah,
see like
yeah,
specks
yeah.
of water coming at the cameras. It's like,
You know how I knew the
blurring
movie,
the lens.
You know how I knew the movie wasn't done when she gets on the escape pod? It didn't just end.
Didn't end. They
Like-
get that. They give you that one beat. You go fuck.
Yeah, I
It's
was like, there's
fucking
more
in there.
here
It's
because
fucking
movies
in
in the
there with her.
80s, she gets on the ship and
Done
they
that
show the
credit.
ship and it's like over.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yep.
It was 79, but still.
Instead,
yeah.
you get a nice little ending here, right? Of her filing her report here, and that she's the last survivor,
Ellen
you know,
Ripley.
So cool.
third in command of the Nostromo.
You're
And
arrested
she's
for
putting
murder.
herself to sleep.
The last surviving member of the Nostromo,
She puts herself to sleep, and that is the movie Alien.
and it.
I love
faced
her
the
putting
stars.
Jonesy in his own little pod.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
interestingly enough, like I don't know if that was the same pod or a different pod because I maybe I just totally made a headcanon that there was only one pod in this thing, but I remember and maybe it's later that she wakes up. What was
Alright.
it? Oh, so maybe I don't know. I always thought that she like opened it back up, grabbed him, and then like slept with him. I don't know,
Snuggled
maybe I'm
down
wrong
with-
on that
with
one.
Jonesy.
But I love this last shot of like us kind of slow dollying in, or actually maybe it was a zoom because there's a lot of zooms in this too, which is a sign of the 70s, and then it just fades to the stars, and then the music.
It's cool stuff, man.
So good.
I hope Jonesy returns. We'll see next
We'll see.
week.
RaGu.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys, the podcast within a podcast that started it all. This is where we rank and review all the bad guys in the Aliens versus Predator universe. Obviously, we're going to go number 1 here. We're putting just Xenomorph, Facehugger,
Ash?
Ash.
I put Ash on
I
there.
put Ash
yeah.
up there, yeah.
Okay.
And the corporation.
Maybe, you know what? Hold on.
Can you link me to this?
It's the same one as always. It's a new tab.
Oh, very cool.
Maybe it's like a RaGu X-Fac or something, like the X-Factor villain. Because it's always going to be the Xenomorph. The Xenomorph's always the baddie, but who's
Well,
the
Well, I
X-Factor?
mean, when we get to AVP, we got to pick a side. We got to pick a side.
shit.
You gotta pick a
There is
okay.
a ongoing. There is
Marvel is like Marvel Civil War.
There is a very like a debate that's raging in the Scarpino household right now because every single time I watch either a Predator movie or an Alien movie, my wife's like, "Alien's scarier," and I'm not arguing it, but she just sees fit to argue that one. I'm like, this is a one-sided debate. You're right. I'm agreeing with you. She's like, you like the Predator. I know you do. I'm like, well, it's cool, but it's not as scary as the Xenomorph.
You were more scared of
Yeah.
us in the video game Predator Hunting Grounds when you were playing the Predator and we were the hunters.
I didn't know how it worked.
And we come through a clearing and just see the Predator in the distance looking up at a tree and turns around and goes, oh, shit. And the Predator runs away.
Tuesday, 10:22 p.m. This is me. I send this text to Andy. I'm watching Alien. Remember when we were playing Predator and we found Nick just standing on the ground as Predator? LOL. And Andy responds in like the blocking quotes, turns around and sees us. Quote, oh shit.
It was scary, man. It was a
So
complicated
good.
game, man. I had
So
no control. I don't
good.
like it.
Xenomorph, Facehugger, and Ash enter on RaGu BaGu Alien at number 1.
Yeah, pretty good. I'm excited to see if we get more moments. You know what I mean? Or if we're going to move on from that. Because 1979, very different time from 1986.
Yeah.
Big old Jimmy Cameron is coming into the fray, man. Come on.
Yeah. Let's go, baby.
Andy, when you saw Ash the first time, what did you think about, my friend?
Bilbo.
Oh.
Baggins.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I immediately the first thing I thought of was it's mine. Why shouldn't I keep it then?
Yeah.
Bilbo Baggins. I am not a conjurer of cheap traffic. I forget what he says. I'm trying to help you. Oh man, it's so good.
So good.
Let's
Of course,
rewatch that.
Alien is
Come on,
number
Greg.
1 right now. We'll see where it lands after next week when we review Aliens, directed by
James Cameron.
so cool Jimmy C himself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you, Greg Miller, for joining us
Happy
for
to be
this
back,
in
guys.
review series, Alien and Predator in review. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of this movie, and if you liked him sleeping. I need to know.
Little nap.
Until next time, I love you all.